Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Superbet Classic room. It's happening in Romania. Guys, yesterday Praggnanandhaa had an amazing win against Nodirbek. We also saw Gukesh playing with Deac, and today there we have Deac on the board already getting ready for the big fight with the leader Praggnanandhaa. Let me quickly show you the standings here, but before that, is everything okay? How are you all doing? We still have Praggnanandhaa yet to be there on the board, and here we have MVL already on the board with Guke waiting for Gukesh. So it's going to be an exciting matchup. Gukesh and Pragg both are black today. Yesterday, both of them were white. We also have Shiv Shakti Pandey, who has become the backer of Indian chess even before the stream started. Kya baat hai? Thank you so much, Shiv, for your contribution. Oh, great to know that all of you are doing fine. Sagar is going to be soon joining us as well. He is at the camp at Phoenix Market City in Kurla. I hope all of you from Mumbai are able to visit and experience that. But for now, here we are looking at these amazing games. So Pragg with Nodirbek yesterday converted an incredibly amazing endgame with opposite colored bishop with equal material, and there was so much to learn. So there we have, he's on 2 out of 3 right now, along with just a moment, and let me just pull up the rankings. We will have, hi there guys, there you go, Pragg is at the board. Maybe time to see the rankings a bit later, time to be at the full screen where Pragg has arrived. Gukesh has just arrived against MVL, but Fabi is also on 2 out of 3. Pragg on 2 out of 3. Only 2 players are on 2 out of 3. Already the tournament is very tough, and then we have 6 players on 1.5 out of 3. Firouzja, Wesley, Duda, MVL, Gukesh, Deac, and Levon and Nodirbek having a tough start with 1 out of 3. Gukesh adjusting his pieces while MVL is looking at him, at his calmness, at the way he's adjusting, very slow and steady. I see that G7 pawn being a little bit out of the square. Look at how Gukesh adjusts the knights. Yep, there you go. The G7 pawn is fine now. But I like it how slow and steady, and there is a conversation going on in his mind. Of course, MVL is also thinking, what am I going to play right now? Let's quickly move to Pragg's game. Pragg also adjusting, but you can see the styles, different styles randomly, quickly. Pragg is looking very confident and relaxed from day one of this tournament when we see him on the board in the beginning. He's drinking water. Okay, there we have maybe an inauguration on the board. Who is it? Who is it? Ooh, we don't yet know the person, but D4. And Pragg is smiling, happy, a handshake there. And of course, with D4, it does seem like somebody's. Oh, was it Gary Kasparov? No, no, no. But Pragg is smiling. Pragg is very happy with whoever it was. So I'm very curious to know, guys, who he was. In case you guys have any idea, let me know. And I'm going to be looking at the chat very soon. I mean, I'm reading the chat, some nice comments there. They're clapping, there's a speech going on. What is wrong in the title? That's what everyone's saying. MVL versus Pragg. Ah, okay, get it. Wait a minute, let me quickly change that. It is MVL versus Gukesh. And Deac versus Pragg. Okay, guys, the title is changed. Thank you so much for pointing out the mistake. Sometimes it can happen. By the way, Deac has not taken the move back. But before the game begins, is he actually going to take the move back or is he going to keep the same move? What do you think, guys? D4 से शुरू होने वाला है या? Yeah, normally you just take the pawn back if you're not going to play. But it would be interesting that if Deac wants to play D4 and if he's keeping the same thing there. Doesn't mind that Pragg already knows. No, there you go. The pawn goes backward, guys. The game has not started. तो इसीलिए otherwise पॉन कभी पीछे नहीं जाता और हम कभी पीछे नहीं हटते. इतना याद रखना दोस्तों. मतलब ऐसा सागर डॉन कहता था. Oh, it was Gary Kasparov checking the send. Thank you, Hans. Wow, that's what you can understand that, okay, these chess players, they're smiling so much and it's not so often that before the game you can see them smiling so much. It has to be out of respect for a legend, and great to know. I wasn't wrong about it. We did have Gary Kasparov there with his grey blazer. It's a nice trivia, in fact, like a quiz that who would be the guest. And guys, Pragg is leading the tournament with 2 points along with Fabi 2 out of 3, and we would say already, अरे इसमें क्या lead है? It's just the beginning phase. That's true, but already its first very important task is to begin well in such tournaments. And there you go, handshake. Black presses the clock and d4 is actually the first move. Deac says, obviously, if Gary Kasparov played d4, why shouldn't I follow him? What are you expecting? I'm expecting a Nimzo Indian. Or if it is not allowed, then maybe Queen's Indian. Bogo Indian, sorry. Yeah, these two. Okay, also let's move to Gukesh's game and see what's up over there. Oh, what? Scotch? Wait a second. Let's go to the screen. There you go. And I'm gonna get the bars now also very soon because... ये क्या हो गया? Because the games have started and I can set up. But guys, Scotch opening on Gukesh's board. MVL in a completely excited mood to play with the world champion. Knight f3, knight c6, d4. Gukesh doesn't think he is prepared. He takes on d4. Knight takes d4. And over here, he is taking a bit of time. The main line is knight f6, attacking the e4 pawn. The knight captures on c6. And let me ask you a question here. Knight f6, knight c6. With which pawn will you take the knight? D pawn or B pawn? And why? That is your first question to begin with. Shrinan says, started watching ChessBase India streams since the candidates from that. I always love to watch the streams. Unstoppable. Wow, love from Kerala. Thank you so much, guys. A lot of things in the chat. I'll be reading. We'll have a lot of time. It's a classical game. We will be following two games. So बहुत मजा आएगा. We will get a lot of time to talk about things. But for now, yeah, but for now, B pawn, D pawn, B. Yeah, exactly. Most of you have mentioned B pawn, and that is the right answer. You want to capture towards the center over here, and hence this is a good move. D takes C6 would lead to Queen D8, and your king is kind of misplaced in the center as well. So that's right. But he has gone for another main line. Gukesh goes bishop c5 now. Okay. So this knight is attacked. He goes knight b3. This became recently, I mean, now it's been many years that it became popular. Earlier, the main line was bishop e3. Black would develop queen f6, putting it more attack on d4 over here. And then there would be c3. So this is how the game would continue with bishop c4 and castle and knight e7 and so on. But over here, knight b3 is played, attacking the bishop. The bishop moves back to b6 and white develops knight c3. I am guessing one thing over here. There is a probability... okay, in general, white will go for long castle. I'm wondering whether Guki is also going to go for that or not. But before that, let me quickly have the bars on the screen. Yeah, what did he play? Guki makes the move. Oops, queen attack there. Yeah, he goes queen f6. Superbet Classic. And there you go. Just... yes, and the bars are updated. So all good now. Queen f6 has been played here. Yeah, you develop the queen and you're asking white what is he going to do. You want to put the knight on e7 and this bishop d6 खेल के because of this bishop over here you are not able to develop on this diagonal. By the way, Vidit, Van Forest versus Vidit also happened in this line. Hari Krishna has played it from black. Niels Grandelis, a lot of people in fact have played this. So white's main move over here is queen e2. His idea is after knight g7. What is an important move? In fact, Pragg has, I have seen Vaishali playing this, but with white, what is the move? Oh, okay. That's a good news, Rakshit. Yeah, with everything happening around, it has not been easy for many people. Chris says, thanks for doing this with so many things going around, especially monitoring from overseas and worried about loved ones. A very difficult time, for sure, but it's completely amazing that it's completely amazing the kind of, with all of this, you get to know so much and so many details about how is the Indian defense system and how is our army trying to fight for everything for all of us. So, truly something which we cannot be grateful enough. Like, it would always be, just heroic of them. So, no, this is a great news, Rakshit. Thank you. Thank you for updating with the good news. But knight g e7. And this is the main line. Okay, the move here was for white h4. So that you want to develop the bishop, attack the queen, go for long castle, and the development is good for white. Whereas because of the bishop on c8, the development is taking time for black. Quickly move to Praggnanandhaa because he is the leader of the tournament over there and he is playing with the black pieces. Deac, yesterday we saw that he takes a lot of time in the opening. He gets into a time pressure, but somehow he is able to, really manage it beautifully. So less time now, as we know, is not a problem for Deac. d4, d5, knight f3, knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3 here played, and bishop b4. Okay. Rago is in defense. We are at e3, and c5 has been played by Pragg. A standard line, but Deac is thinking over here because there are number of ways to continue. He can develop the bishop here. He can kick the bishop or force the bishop to take the knight over here. He can also try to release the tension in the center by taking on d5. So there are these few lines, but what is he going to choose is a question. In fact, maybe bishop d2 as well. तो देखते हैं. I am guessing he might play bishop d3. That sounds like it. Ooh, Alexander says today is my birthday. Wow, happy birthday. Today, today is also birthday of my very close friend and who is the author of the Gukesh book. So, Ketki Kulkarni. So, this is the book. She's made some amazing graphics there. So, yeah. And also, final question. Which grandmaster, which top Indian grandmaster today has his birthday? Of course, many of you would know. But still, let's ask. Yes, of course, a famous Indian player. I can give you a hint, but yes, Pragg udhar khel raha hai. If it was his birthday, we would all know. We would all start right now. Today is Pragg's birthday and Garry Kasparov is inaugurating. But Abhishek Sagar is not the famous Indian player. He's just an Indian player. Okay, बताने का नहीं उसको. Oh wow! Look at him. Ayman Syed official. Well done. Hari Krishna. He's the first one to find. It is Hari Krishna's birthday today. Hari Krishna, who is, as we know, in the endgame god. Yeah, it's his birthday. I guess he would have turned, what, 39. 39 years old. Okay, so c5 has been played, and look at Deac. He's taking a lot of time. It's been already 4 minutes and the opening line. So we will come to it. Let's go to the Scotch game because I find it very exciting that an opening like Scotch is... Oops. So, yeah, opening like Scotch is happening. So after Queen E2, Queen E2 was played. Gukesh went knight g e7. He developed here. And White said, okay, I don't want to go h4 ideas. I just simply want to develop my bishop to e3, challenge you over here. And if you take, I am very happy with queen takes a3. This position, I'm going to long castle. I'm going to play knight b5. Now that you do not have the bishop on b6, your c7 point is a little bit weak over there. So bishop e3 has been played. And white and black will have to be careful with these ideas. Knight b5. So Gukesh is thinking what to do. I am guessing he will mostly play d6 to open this bishop, but he could also play short castle. Now this one is definitely going into opposite side castle. But maybe if you play d6, if long castle, can black also go for long castle? The question is where to develop the bishop. These are all controlled squares, and with bishop on e6, not sure if it can come under attack at any point of time. Somehow bishop d7 feels a bit safer, and then long castle. I think Gukesh will not go into opposite side castle. I think he will go for something like this. But there used to be also a line earlier with a5, but with bishop a3, now it's not possible because then your structure is super bad and knight can knight jump in over here? Yeah, because for queen b2, you have knight c7 check, king d8, You can take the rook. This one is defended. Alright, there you go. How's chess practice going on, guys? And how many of you are from Mumbai? And also, how many of you are by any chance planning to play a tournament in the summer season? So many questions from me. Hello, Shrirang. Nagpur. What about Short Castle? Yes, Short Castle is possible. That's definitely something where you enter the territory of opposite side castle, where you'll have to create an attack. But it does seem like White's attack could be faster. So I'm sure that Gukesh is prepared over here, like very decently prepared. Now the question is, he would have some options for sure. It's more about he's choosing which one to go for. Oh, Srirang is in chess club. अरे क्या बात है? I am an archer. Very cool. Delhi International आ रहे हो? क्या बात है? It's one of the most happening tournaments in Delhi. So many people play. I think earlier it was like the biggest event where more than 2000 people will be playing. Crazy होता था. Yeah, Sagar is at the summer camp. Guys, how many of you would like to get a glimpse of the camp? So what I will do is I'll send him a Zoom link. And then maybe Srirang goes to Sagar and tells him to join for 2 minutes on the Zoom link. Kya lagta hai? How is the idea? Anime says I got selected for National KVS 54th meet in chess. Ooh, superb. Also, one more thing. Today, Asian Individual, actually they had a round in the morning itself. So now they would be having blitz. If I am, yeah, Asian Individual, the round is still going though. No, see, everything is over. So we do have some results over here. And first board was Shamsuddin. It ended in a draw. Second board, Pranav versus Nihal also ended in a draw. Then we had Murli beating Sina. Very cool. Pranit Vupalla drew today. Sri Hari also drew. Pranesh also drew. Inian again won. Inian won with the white pieces. Ilamparti had a tough day. He lost to Alexei Grebnev. And then we have Leon playing, who also beats Sugar. Ooh. Abhimanyu Puranik also wins with the black pieces against Siddharth Jagdish from Singapore. So Ganguly drew, Setu Raman drew. That is cool. That is cool. So this was the tournament, and today I think we will also have Vaishali's game, which will be starting in some time. Let me see. Okay, 25 minutes. She's playing against Zhu Jinner with the black pieces. So once it begins, we'll definitely keep a watch on that. But for now, Gukesh actually has castled and also looks very confident. If you look at him, he looks confident. He's completely fine with the long castle situation, which means he's planning some kind of an attack over there, because for black, after this exchange, a5, a4 and a3 would be something to really look at once the dark square bishops are exchanged. बताओ सागर भाई को, बता दो. But look, whether people... Oh yeah, my brother won today. Yes, Josh. That was cool. Hello also is going to play Delhi. Nandini asks, how can I convince my parents to give me chess coaching? Acha, they know chess. They are going to teach you, you mean? Okay, kidding. No, but as Sagar had mentioned about it earlier also, that there is, a lot of very good free content firstly out there. So you could have these courses and try to see that whether you are very sincere about it, doing it all by yourself or not first. And then if you're able to do it, write the notes in the notebook, go to your parents, show them that, notebook की बहुत मेहनत कर रहा हूँ मैं, kind of. I'm sure it will help you. We would love to see the camp. अरे हो जाए श्रीरंग. Okay, short castle and long castle as we expected. Engine, guys, you might all think that this is a mistake. Okay, yes, the engine really prefers the position for white, but it is a position which it is an opening where a lot of games have been played. So, jaise black, you can say that Grishchuk has played, Atusa Porkishan has played, who is Hikaru Nakamura's wife, and yes, it's not a very very popular kind of a line there, but I'm sure that Gukesh is prepared. He also had 1 hour 27 minutes. It's not like he had to take a lot of time to decide whether he wants to castle or not. It wasn't like he was in a surprised situation that kya hi kare, it felt like a problem. So it wasn't anything to do with that. So this one is gonna become a bloodbath. That is my prediction. What about you? Bar is showing 0.92 advantage for MVL. Bar is showing 0.7 over here for the D6 line, which he actually played D6 right now, just while we were talking. And here white can do with certain moves, that is bishop B6. Can white go H4 is the question. Yeah, still not a bad move. I feel it's like going to be a draw. अरे क्यों ये वाला draw कैसे? Opposite side castle. No, I feel it is going to get very exciting because we know MVL. He's a very creative player. He generally doesn't have any fear to sacrifice. So, I know Gukesh is also in a way similar for that aspect. So I am hoping something very exciting here. Look at this. If white actually takes this AB6 and allows this rook to open up, this is still, recommended by the engines as a possibility. But for humans, it would feel like, if you don't know the lines and the options, it would feel like, oh, why are you helping black to open up his rook on the A file in front of this king somewhere? So interesting. We have a new member, Aniruddha, who is member for 1 month, backer of Indian chess. Thank you so much, Aniruddha. Thank you. Yeah, that's the one thing I tell people, meet me and then you won't find me sweet. Okay, so then let's go to Pragg's game. वहाँ पे तो ताराश हो रहा था. Yep, but Pragg is not on the board. Pragg घूम रहा है. Pragg US घूमने गया है. How is the joke? Okay, E3 से, अरे, you remember guys, we left at C5. We left at that Deac will take a lot of time here. And we were right. In the last 15 minutes, Deac has not made a move. Tell me something. What do you think? Like, is Deac surprised? Is Deac recollecting his preparation? Or is Deac suddenly, finding something very interesting on the board and calculating that? Or is it just a habit to think so much? Like, what according to you is a possibility यहाँ पे? Oh, YouTuber says I am from Nepal. That is cool because I'm sure that you would be a fan of Anish Giri. Oh, wonderful unknown YouTuber. If you could write to us, we do have some people over there where we are collaborating. Anirudh says he's calculating. Lark says just a habit. He will move his knight to e5, says Raganur. He's just curious. He's thinking what to eat for dinner. देवश्री you should go to the summer camp. मैं chess class नहीं लेती क्योंकि यही this is the class over here already. We are learning, I'm asking questions. How to become the member, that is, you can on Google, you can, either your helpchess.org on this site you can contribute, or on YouTube when you go you can become a member. वहाँ पे आता है join button. He's thinking, okay, guys, guys. So I think he is trying to find a best move, but I think many times what happens is you have some people don't even prepare openings too much in depth, and they are like, okay, I know the main points of it. When I go to the board, I'll figure out, because nowadays it is hard to predict. Yes, he plays there, c takes d5, hard to predict what all your opponent will play, because now the preparation is like everybody plays everything kind of a scenario. So c takes d5 he has taken after a thought of 17 minutes. And yesterday we saw for first 15 moves, Pragg actually had 1 hour, 30 minutes on the clock, which helped him hugely towards the end to convert. Now, is he going to come back on the board and make the move very quickly, or is he going to take time? Okay, let's see that. He's gonna play very quickly. He's wondering whether to take with the pawn or the knight, because both are possible moves, but ed5 I think would be played. Go on, Pragg. What if Pragg tries to establish that having 1 hour 30 minutes? Oh, he takes with the knight. Ooh, and he says, now there is a pin over here, your knight is attacked. Knight d5 looks tasty. Absolutely. No, this is attacked. And now the question for white is, how do you defend this? Okay. Because you have moves like bishop d2, queen c2. If you go queen b3, well, that's possible, but may not be the best idea. He goes bishop d2, says, I want to develop my bishop and also protect the c3. Now for black, Pragg is thinking, okay, short castle, knight c6. He's got a good flowing development plans, and at some point maybe what can happen is after cd5 ed4 we will get the isolated queen pawn, so high chances of cd ed later. Oh, just now, oh, we are going in IQP, because if knight takes d4, suppose knight takes d4 over here, and if they go in a symmetrical structure, then this is getting isolated. So knight c3, let's say bishop c3, bc3, then black is very happy. And even if bc3 for knight takes c3, still, I mean, you don't like such a pawn, and then what is the bishop doing here on d2? So cd4, the most natural move is ed4, and I think Deac will make this move. Whether he will think a long time, no, this move I don't think he will think for long. I think he will take maybe a minute or two. If he thinks for long, then that's like a serious advantage in the opening, time pressure advantage for Pragg. Why not e5? Kahan pe? After he takes with the knight, you mean why not e5? Okay, good question. What should white play here? Maybe actually that is your first question, chat, for today. What should white play here? What's the best move for white? Neil says you could throw in bishop b5. Maybe. Yes, that's a very good point, Neil. Actually, bishop b5 somehow, otherwise nobody suggested. People are saying knight d5, queen a4. But bishop b5 is a very powerful shot, because you can't go knight c6 with this knight hanging in here. You can't go knight d7 because then this knight is being lost. If you go bishop d7, then jumps in knight d5, you will think, okay, what if I can take this? But then, wait, everything is kind of hanging, yeah? Knight takes b5. This is hanging. So if you take here, okay, look at this. What should white play? Come on, very quickly 10 people, guys. What should white play here? एक ही piece hanging है. Michael Super Chats, what is this tournament about? I just started following for this weekend. Oh, Michael, thank you for Super Chat. It is a Grand Chess Tour. It's happening in Romania. It's a Superbet Chess Classic. We just had a Rapid and Blitz event few days ago where I think it was in US. I think Pragg and Arvind had played over there, but this one is classical. And again, next month we are gonna have one more where Gukesh and Praggnanandhaa and even Magnus Carlsen will be playing in that tournament. So these tournaments, there will be FIDE circuit points as well. So I think it's one of the most famous, this Grand Chess Tour. It's been happening for, I believe, for a decade now. So very popular event, and it's great to watch this one. In fact, today Garry Kasparov made the opening move on Pragg's board. Yeah, of course. So many people love it, love it, love it. Guys, we have at least what? 10 people. Okay. I thought there were more, but ठीक है. अभी बहुत सारा questions. Knight c7. I thought you will fall for this one, but no. Then queen takes b5, and it's a fine position. So a lot of hanging pieces there, mass exchanges. So bishop b5 would be completely kind of a big trouble. You'll otherwise have to go king f8. So c takes d4 has been played, and Deac is thinking I was completely wrong because I predicted a minute or 2 minutes for his next move, which is e takes d4. Oops, e takes d4. But I think he wants to take a bit of time because this might tempt him with these ideas. Only thing is, if knight takes d4 is played, black does have the possibility of short castle, because after knight c3, a question here, b takes c3, and if you move the bishop back, now if there is bishop b5 check, you don't have to worry because you can go knight d7 or as well as bishop d7 and nothing of a problem. So I don't know why he's thinking actually, but I am hoping for e takes d4 very soon. Quickly moving to Gukesh's board. Yeah, quickly moving to Gukesh's board there. After d6 was played, queen d2. He played queen d2, and White is saying that I'm okay to move the queen twice. He had just gone queen e2. Now he goes queen d2. What is the threat, guys? But it's not really... Yes, you are looking at bishop g5, but doesn't seem like a big problem, no? Like even if you develop... Yeah, bishop e6 has been developed by Gukesh. Now here, this diagonal, White will have to be careful. And what is the prophylactic move, which we talk about? White to player, the prophylactic move. Michael, this one is happening in Romania. This is not happening in US. But I think there will be... so there are 2 more tournaments. Next tournament will be where Magnus will play, will happen in Zagreb, Croatia. Then there will be the Sinkfield Cup. It will happen in what? Maybe August. Yep. That will be in US. Yes, we do have our own app. It's there for all the needs in terms of reading articles and, buying stuff and so on. But we will be working more on it to improve after some time. Lark says yesterday with 0.7 advantage itself, winning probability was given by some. No, it's not about winning because we are also looking at this opening line. Maybe if we want to say that this opening line doesn't seem so great for black, that is a possibility that it looks a bit dubious. But the point is, because Gukesh went into it, I I am I am guessing that he would be prepared because he took 3 minutes when he castled, so he knew what he was entering into. So that's the reason I'm predicting that he will be prepared, and the slight edge for white is for sure there. But he is okay with that because there are many ideas, as you know, that if black will also try to fight for the d5 break, and if that happens, then we don't know whose king is going to get weaker. But for now, yes, I had asked a question for a prophylactic move, and we do have Jojo, Saumik, Sarthak. Um, who else? Not too many actually. Not too many. The prophylactic move is King B1, guys. We were discussing, and even the engine recommends the move King B1. Just a good move. Basically, you will say that, Are Abhi, what is the need? The king looks safe. Neither the c file is opened, nor this diagonal looks like any weakness there. But there is another. That's the problem with long castle. There is not just the c file. There is not just this check, but there is also this a2 guy, which is many times slightly loose. So king b1 is like tucking it in, and then you are a bit neat and clean over there. That way, like in school, you have to tuck your t-shirt, your shirt in. So similar to that, king b1, a very prophylactic move, and then Gukesh is going to take his time. Now you again and again want to go a5, but because of this bishop b6 irritating move where d6 will be a problem, you then start thinking of, can black take bishop takes c3, where white would not love to spoil the structure in this scenario, and that's why queen takes c3. And then the question happens that, can black go a5, saying that, I am the football, I want to kick you away. It's saying that to the knight. So this is something where you start thinking, though the engine is not very happy about it. What else, according to the best moves which are suggested, is to improve this knight position and go to g6. Of course, I would be a bit worried about ideas like bishop g5, where the queen is getting trapped. But for now, it doesn't work because of a very simple move. Ooh, lag. For now, it doesn't work because of very simple move. Yeah, exactly. There was a big eye on the f2 square, and queen takes f2. So that's why it doesn't work. So the question is, what is white going to play? And very interestingly, white is completely happy to open this rook again and again, as we are looking at, and then start with the attack over here with h4 and so on. So I am curious as to what's going to happen, but MVL goes bishop b5, and look at this, guys. Bishop b5. This is a move which we were not at all expecting. We would expect h4 or ideas where you can expand on the king side, moving the bishop, king b1, but bishop b5. What is the idea for white according to all of you guys? Try to think. Michael says, I was imagining this is not in US, but was confused since you said it is happening in USA. No, the earlier one, there happened in the April end. One more Superbet happened, that was Rapid and Blitz, which was in USA. If it is in US, I would follow more closely. I met folks in World Rapid and Chess, and I am looking forward. Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, I think in August, Sinkfield Cup would be there in US. Also, maybe at St. Louis they would have, but I have to check about the calendar. Bishop b5. Yeah, guys, what is bishop b5 according to you? Oh, everyone's saying Poland, not USA. Was I completely wrong? Why did I feel US? Michael M. Yes, Warsaw, of course, of course. I don't know why I said US, but maybe it was. But last year also they had the same thing. Poland, Zagreb, same city. So US is going to happen. My bad, my bad. To take the knight and skewer the queen and the knight. Okay, the bishop is saying that I'm okay to let myself go. In fact, a bishop which we generally use for the attack, he's saying that I don't need it because what I need is to expand over here as quickly as possible with the rooks incoming, and make sure that like white knows that somewhere this queen on f6 can be slightly misplaced. It depends on the situation whether this queen is going to be the heroine or not, like we said for the passer pawn, hero ya zero. So similarly for this queen, because sometimes it has to take care of these ideas with g4 g5 bishop g5 knight d5, all these tempo, but at the same time it is putting pressure if you are able to get the pawn to a3 and so on. So bishop b5 has been played, a move which we did not expect, and Gukesh also did not expect. Just look at him, he is trying to calculate on the board. One very amazing quality about Gukesh has been that whenever the opponent plays any opening, even when Gukesh is not aware of it, he is able to take his time and find a good continuation for that on the board. So that has been an amazing quality, and here Gukesh is trying to take his time. He's down to 1 hour 15 minutes. MVL is having 1 hour 17 minutes. This is move number 11. On 40th move, they will get 30 minutes each. So while he thinks, very quickly going to the game of Praggnanandhaa. Pragg is not on the board, and after bishop d2, c takes d4. Oh my god, it's been 12 minutes and Deac is still thinking. So maybe he's not just thinking about e takes d4 anymore. It feels like he's thinking about this check, knight takes d5. Oh my god, knight takes d4. So many options. So it's a very juicy position to think about, and it may not be like you actually have prepared this exact line against Pragg today. So you're calculating on the board, and I think. Oh, he plays knight d5. Whoa, we were expecting a simple IQP, but he first plays knight d5, and we must not forget about the bishop here and not take the knight, which would be a big blunder because the defender is gone. So bishop d2 obviously forced, which will happen. Queen d2 will happen over here. You wouldn't want the knight to go back, and queen d5 will also happen because you don't want to capture with the e pawn. That would look horrible, I think, because of knight d4, and you have the isolated pawn here, but you do not have a dark square bishop, which is a very important part of getting the compensation for the isolated pawn. So bishop d2, queen d2 has been played, and Pragg will be playing queen takes d5. Now a question: if white goes queen d4, are we going into an endgame here with, suppose, queen d4, knight d4? Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, queen d5 played. Yeah, so locations are fixed every year. Yes, Itachi, that is true that it keeps happening in Poland and Romania, then Croatia. It is actually fixed. Queen d4. Whoa. Okay. But yesterday we saw Pragg grinding the endgame. Now look at him. He is thinking what to do here. And very smart of Deac in a way to use all the time and saying that, okay, I don't want to go into an isolated queen pawn against you, Pragg. I would be rather going into something simple. And Pragg can't really avoid the exchange, yeah, because let's say if he goes queen a5 check, it's a big blunder, guys. Big blunder. I want at least 25 people to find this. White to play. What's the move? White to play here. queen a5 would be a blunder because of white to play. Itachi says one serious way of improvement is to analyze without engine. Absolutely true. In fact, I have mentioned this earlier as well, that whenever you play a serious game, which is not a like a bullet blitz kind of, but a little longer format game, then immediately you just, every single move you kind of reflect on why did you make that, try to make a note of it without engine. You should not know where, and then you ask yourself where was your mistake, where was your opponent's mistake without engine. Once you have done with that whole exercise of, it should take, I mean, if you are doing it very sincerely, it could take anything between 30 minutes to even 2 hours for that matter. And then you try to afterwards as a, use the engine as a coach, not as to shut down your brain. That's important. How many people have found the answer? Let's go and check. Guys, I asked for 25 people. I have received 12 people. Okay, but some other people have not found it. Maybe another few. Come on, guys. More. Try. What should white play here? Because queen a5 would be a big blunder. Itachi says, I analyzed a game with a friend. It took 3.5 hours for us. Wow, so cool. Was it your own game or were you analyzing any other game? Okay, thank you. We do have like 16 answers there, and along with other answers, we have reached 20. I would like to read out the names. Parv, Jayant, Ruhan, Jojo, Shri Hari, Savita, Meenu, Slip, Saumik, and YT Creator. Well done, guys. Well done. 25 people. Kya hi? So B4 is the move here, and that is winning because the question is your queen is under attack and your g7 pawn is under attack. And if you say that, okay, I'll go queen a4, but the problem is after queen g7, even if you have queen b4 as check, the knight goes to d2, protects the king beautifully, and your rook is attacked. So just for example, to continue, if the rook goes to f8, then rook b1, and you can see that black does not have any compensation, king is in the center. So few moves happened. After queen d4, he took queen d4, knight takes d4. Pragg is still having 1 hour 27 minutes on the clock. Deac down to 59 minutes. This is move number 11th. So I think in time pressure wise, it looks all okay. Except for if Deac is going to take a lot of time, it will be different. But it looks okay. Now what do you do, guys? What do you do with black? My game, Fiddle the Master game too. Oh, cool, cool. Boom, bam. Sharanya is saying, I want a chess friend. So bad. Array, kya baat hai? You want to analyze chess? I can see that. You should come to the club here. You will make a lot of friends. Okay, only if you are in Mumbai. But also Bangalore has a very good chess culture. So bishop d7 has been played and he's controlling the light squares. So this is going to be a slow endgame. I think knight c6 is going to happen. The knights might get exchanged. Okay, I'm not predicting much. Basically what Deac is saying that with the white pieces, normally people don't enter in many drawish positions. You want to like try. But I think Deac looks like okay with, such equal position and not having the advantage which white would usually have. And if you just look at the, like, Pragg is black, then this draw is completely fine. This is a, you can say, like the pros and cons of classical chess, such kind of a position, and it's completely equal. You won't ever see such a thing in freestyle because it's all like chaos in the opening that time. So yeah, but what to do? Pragg will try, and I think it is highly possible that if Pragg is able to, like grind this endgame, we will have a master class. Rook c1 has been played. चलो लेट्स गो टू गुकेश's गेम, क्योंकि वहां पे हो रहा है सब कुछ crazy. Bishop b5, he goes queen g6. Ooh, look at this move. Pragg won't settle for a draw, says Itachi. Kya hi? I hope so. Yeah, Deac is writing in an unusual way. I agree with you. Chessub is saying there's no imbalance. I think Pragg chose this for a quick. I don't think Pragg chose this. It was Deac who chose that as well. Hans has asked, what if MVL goes f4, f5? Very good suggestion there, because f4, which is directly threatening a pawn 4. What would be the best way to continue here for black? Normally for a move like f4, we tend to consider f5 initially. So for black, f5 is the move, or because these bishops are always in front of each other, like the sumo wrestlers, he can think of takes and then f5. So if this happens, okay, and imagine if ef5 and bishop f5, then this diagonal and c2 white will also have to be a little careful. At the same time, if at all white is getting h3, g4, f5, then the bishop doesn't have too many squares over here. It feels a bit loose. And black needs to, like, if he wants to create anything over here, any counterplay for this king and the pawns, he would need to push the a5. But maybe he starts with a6, kicking off this bishop, and maybe a6, b5 is also the way. So queen g6 has been played. Firstly, he is saying that yes, I'm keeping an eye on g2 and e4, but I don't think black is ever going to take this pawn. It would be complete suicide there. The idea is to move away from here, so that to get away from these ideas, and at the same time open up the path for your f7 pawn for f5. That is the idea. Typical idea in Scotch is to go f5 break. So queen g6 has been played. f4 was one option. The other option was bishop b6, which I find a bit weird to allow ab6. Apart from that, I think h4 has been the move which was very natural for white. h4. Oh my god. And you know what? The move is Indian is suggesting, guys, black to play here. I think Indian will suggest that, but when we make the move, maybe even the Indian will not understand, because I think Indian sometimes just gets carried away. Exactly. Neil, Naman. Yeah, queen takes g2. Matlab, this is exactly what we are talking about, that you cannot even think about it. And I was wondering if the engine changes the assessment slightly, but it says that okay, you can win the material, and that's about the engine. It's a robot. It wants more material, and it's fine. Yeah. But for us, such a move would be so dangerous to allow. And I would be completely shocked if at all at any point of time this is going to happen. Yeah, very soon, like in the next 2-3 moves. If we see a move like queen g2, it would be a complete shocker. So f4 is one more thing in general, also protects this. But what if, suppose white goes solid, okay, and plays a natural move like f3, saying that I'm defending this, I'm gonna go g4, h4, h5 like a typical dragon attack. Can I do that? f3. Or do you think it's a bit slow? So the thing is, for f3, what black can actually do is, okay, I'm just completely ignoring the fact that you can take this pawn, but the f5 ideas would still exist. So I love this move, queen g6 by Gukesh. I love it. Very cool. Saumik says looks crazy, but maybe Gukesh calculated this. I don't know. I just don't think Gukesh is gonna go for the G2 pawn. Like Jitu भैया नहीं, अभी तो नहीं मिलना है जीतू भैया को. Yeah, that is the engine suggestion, Neil. But that's what we are talking about. Ki G2 pawn, agar if at all we capture that pawn, then I don't know where the game would be heading. And MVL is going to be like, I want you to capture G2 pawn. He would be so happy about it. Guys, all those who are asking Pragg's game, it's reached. Oh, a lot of moves have happened. Okay, let's go there. So after bishop d7 was played, rook c1 by Deac. Knight c6 was played. Knight takes c6, bishop takes c6, f3 because he wants to develop the bishop. So he blocks it and creates a granite over here with f3. King e7 played by Pragg. The Indian is saying slight, very little, छोटी सी खुशी आगे छोटी सी स्माइल एकदम. So king e7 there and bishop develops to c4. Now if you look at this assessment of a initiative for black, because of a nicely placed bishop on the long diagonal, though there is a granite for now, but because of being ahead in development right now, like your rooks are already connected, white still needs to go king e2. So why is this even slight initiative? Does it mean anything? Let me try to see. You can't go king f2 rook d2 check aega. So king e2 khela, and if I simply try to double the rooks, maybe I put on the dark square, rook d1, rook d8, takes, ठीक है. ये अगर होता है rook d1 तो it's a draw. So you don't want to exchange all the rooks, suppose. What else can you try over here? और कोई plan है guys? और कोई plan? Neil is saying Pragg might be stronger than his opponent at endgames, but his endgame might be, but this endgame might be too dead drawn for any chances. Yeah, like a lot of things have to come together. Let's say like now the rooks are not exchanged. Let's say like Deac lands up in very less time, which even if he does, this is an endgame, he won't need too much time, yeah, for 25 moves. He is completely in control. Then let's say at the end there is a situation where Deac has to play the only moves for 2-3 times and in time pressure. If all of this, and also psychologically, let's say if something like that starts happening when black suddenly starts putting pressure on Deac, okay, and Deac wonders that, oh, it was so equal, how did I land up in such a situation, and psychologically feels very stressed about it, then also it will lead to him making more inaccurate moves there, slight inaccuracies which we call. So for sure Pragg is not going to go for a draw. This one f5, I was just looking at this move over here, but I think what he will try to do is he will try to put pressure on this pawn chain with this bishop over here, and maybe even this. Yeah, yesterday we saw h5, h4, h3 kind of idea. Yesterday, nahi, day before. Yesterday only with the pawn on h6. तो क्या पता, try तो करेगा ही. So बाद में देखते हैं what happens here. But as of now, this is the scene. Going back to Gukesh's game, because thereafter queen g6, MVL is still thinking. He's down to 1 hour 6 minutes. He has taken 10 minutes, and in fact Gukesh is having 1 hour 9 minutes on the clock. Oh, very cool. Neil says in Pragg's game, maybe there is some funny idea with h5, rook h6, rook g6, targeting the gf mini pawn chain. Okay, but he will defend, no? He will have the rook, one of the rook to d1 and maybe then king f2. Oh, but Pragg is saying I'm doubling on the c file. Oh, look at a tactic which could be possible. If only he is not careful, yeah? Like, let me try. Suppose this. So, and now rook at c8. It's gone, guys. Oh, that is so tricky. Pragg has set a trap. Oh my god. Guys, what is the threat? Yes. What is the threat? All of you, try to think. What a sneaky move. Rook c7. Crazy, crazy. Okay, with this kind of a trap, I can sense that Pragg is in no mood for a draw. He's going to set up like 1,000 more traps, it seems. Yes, Neil, Chirag, Meg, ITZ, Pratik, Saumik, Parva, Anurag, Nilay. Correct. That's a 1,000 elo trap. That's why he's not gonna miss it. But it was important to set it up. Bishop f3. It's the time to disco, guys. That's the trap set up by Pragg. But a funny thing here is, let's say if I go b3, okay, and I say now this is protected. What should black player find a best move? What should black player? I want 25 answers because it's a move which you will find easily. So 25 answers. The best move, guys. I don't want anything which is like, हाँ ये भी अच्छा तो है, but इतना अच्छा नहीं. I want perfection here. Perfection. How many answers am I getting? Already 20. Solid, solid. Proud of you. ठीक है, पढ़ना तो है ही नाम. नील मोदी, कृषल खरबूजा, प्रथम वर्मा, क्रेजी गेमर, अनुनाद सिंह, कमल विजय, अनुराग चैटर्जी, सौमिक रॉय, एंड्रयू पीएम, किशन अग्रवाल. And we have got not 25, but we have already reached 30 answers. क्या बात है, guys? But look at this. Some people had mentioned bishop b5. Many of you wanted to go bishop b5. Then there was also bishop d5. So मजा आ गया because at least 40-50 people attempted it, which was superb. Firstly, bishop b5, all of those who had said to attack this and win this, you have missed rook d4, protecting it. And if you go e5, I think the rook will, okay, thoda बहुत calculation है, but rook h4 can be played. Bishop d5, those who said okay, it's possible, it's also good move, but b5, as Harshit says, boom bam, ekdam hi boom bam. Because if you go here, then this time this rook is also not enough defended. So one defender, two attackers, bishop f3 check, disco aa gaya, material is lost. That's why you cannot allow b5 here. So b3 wouldn't work, but the same idea, even if you move the bishop, the same idea, bishop f3. So rook c7 is very, very trappy kind of a situation. White will have to figure out already whether he wants to go back with the bishop anywhere or whether he wants to move the rook. He will have to take a decision over here. क्या करे तो क्या करे? But if at all he misses something, what happens if he goes a move like e4? Okay, now look at this. It is completely okay because if you go rook c8 and though there is a pin, this bishop can move. This bishop can move. Natural does seem to go back to b3, controlling this. But now you don't have a check, at least over here, winning a pawn. But then you have a check from here. So somewhere there is some pressure, like thoda sa pressure hai. But e4 is not an easy move to make. I'm doubting. I think most natural would be to go back to d3. Bishop goes to d3. Also keeps an eye on h7 over here. So this should be the most natural move. And then f5. I think this is what could happen. But it seems that Pragg is fighting, guys. Pragg is fighting. इतना easy draw तो नहीं है. Deac is thinking now. Down to 52 minutes. Pragg has 30 minutes more. It's a 16th move. But he is going to grind. Let's go to Gukesh's game and see. Oh my god, MVL is still thinking for queen g6 and it's been 17 minutes for MVL. Insane. Insane, guys. Okay, we have to definitely analyze this position well. Neil says maybe MVL is wondering if Gukesh has calculated taking G2 or if it is a bluff. Could be possible because many times nowadays, as we have seen, even Arjun for that matter, just grabbing the pawns when the opponent is least expecting, and actually after that being able to keep that material advantage for a long time, that has created like kind of the breaking the shackles kind of a thing. So Sharanya says I was thinking bishop b6. It's a good move. In fact, bishop b6 for engines, as we discussed, is a good move. Humanly not sure whether bishop b6 ab6 is something you would allow, unless you really don't want a6. Yeah, and it's more like you want the bishop to stay on b5 until the right time will be there. Oh, Deac plays rook c3, huh? Yeah, Deac is very careful. He doesn't allow any trap. In fact, he's also ready for rook c1 and rook c8, bishop d3. Fatafat. Yeah, he's not thinking at all. Are these guys getting exchanged? Okay, suppose bishop d5, rook c7, rook c7. But this is also controlled. Also, when until the rook is there, whenever you take, there is rook a1 and you lose this pawn back. But maybe what Pragg will try to do is to keep the pawns on the dark squares and have a good bishop versus bad bishop situation. He will try. I don't know whether Deac will mess it up because it doesn't look likely. Also, the way he played yesterday, he was on top of his game. While MVL is still thinking over here and not making the move, Pragg goes bishop d5. And one rook is getting exchanged now, guys. One rook is getting exchanged because rook c1 is not a good idea. You don't want to isolate the pawn here. Rook c3. Now, if you take rook c3, it's a big blunder because after this takes, black can simply win a pawn. You don't have rook a1 anymore. But b takes c3 isolates the pawn and gives advantage, slight advantage for black. So obviously he's not gonna allow that, and most probably he will exchange. He does have rook a3 as well to attack over here, but then to keep the two rooks may not be something I think he would be looking forward to. So expecting a one rook exchange over here, guys. One rook exchange. Many times if it is like two open files, but who has the control? This D file is right now doesn't seem like anybody is having control, and C file is something the rooks are fighting for, but as of now black looks like having the control. Neil says if they trade one pair of rooks, does Pragg get some easier play? They have exchanged one pair of rooks. I think what for Pragg, he will. Okay, very first question is king d2 comes to the mind because for Deac he can very easily access the c file with rook c1. So that is something, and I don't see a way to avoid this exchange on the c file. So for king d2, maybe even if you let's say play a move like e5 saying that I want to keep this on the dark square. What did he play? He made a move. Oh, he played b3. He did not go for that. He's like, it's fine, I'm putting my pawns on the light square, but no bishop a2 ideas. I'm also wanting to keep the rook. And maybe I want to ask all of you a question. Guys, why is bishop h7 a big blunder? Why is bishop h7 a big blunder? That's a good joke. Neil, opposite colored bishop is always drawn. Pragg's bishop is black piece and Deac's is white piece. Okay. But the thing is, over here, what Pragg is going to say is, okay, look, I have a light square bishop, so I want the pawns on dark squares. Of course, over here, bishop h7 is a big blunder. I think everybody has got it right. Absolutely everybody. Somebody did make... Okay, Sureed says f5 and that is a mistake because then you allow him to escape, you know. This is the way he's gonna escape. So g6 is the move where you have blocked this, where rook c2 is coming. That's another thing, but this is how you're gonna trap this guy. And if h4 with the idea of h5, you can still play king f6. And if h5, king g7, and even if this is defended for now, the point is, I think you will have rook c8, rook h8, and over here also there is a pin. So let's say black goes, I mean, I'm just trying to, I can win the a pawn, I can give the c2 check and it's winning. But if I'm just seeing that if you want to try and win the piece here, then rook h8 and, oh, bishop g6 takes and king g6. Okay, you're winning. So b3, e5 very quickly placed this pawn on the dark square. So Pragg is going to place the pawns on the dark square, but he cannot play f6 because h7 then would be hanging. So he will wait for that and he's going to grind, guys. He is going to grind. Until a rook is there, I think he will be able to. Also, if he gets the pawns on the dark squares like a5 and b4, the king and bishop endgame, we do have a lot of classics, that is a lot of old games where we have seen the power of a good bishop versus bad bishop. But over here, what white is doing is he's keeping this pawn on e3. It's a dark square and white will make sure to not push e4. I think that would be a very big positional error. So if he goes e4 over here, just the computer says that's completely fine. But to kind of show you, if he plays this in terms of accuracy, it will start becoming slow and steady, that white has to be very careful and perfect. So in general, I don't think that is going to be a good idea, but we'll see how he continues. Deac down to 50 minutes and a 30 minutes of time difference there. Spassky Fischer game. What was Fischer thinking? It was very clear that the bishop gets trapped. क्या ही नॉलेज है अपने चैट में सबका. Very cool. Let's go to MVL. Has he made a move, guys? Yes. MVL has made a move. He has gone h4 after a long thought. He thought for 17 minutes here plus 7 minutes. He thought for around 20 to 23 minutes to make this move, which means that normally in a classical game, if you're thinking for 20 to 25 minutes, you find his position very, very critical. It's a key position. But he found his position critical and then starts with h4. For black, for Gukesh now, he has good amount of time. He has 15 minutes extra than his opponent. And the best move by the engine says queen g2, which looks damn dangerous. Like, damn dangerous. And I don't know, like, guys, kya lagta hai? Do you think Gukesh will take this pawn on g2? Kya lagta hai? Any chance? I don't think so. And I'm like, not even going to be like, acha, he didn't take this pawn. How could he miss it? Because I would never take such a pawn. In fact, I would be more for not taking the pawn. But what do you think? Varsha says no. Ayan says yes. Ragnarok, no. Vivan, wow. Kaushik says on higher depth, queen g2 is the third best only. But bishop e3 and h5 is the best. But even in that case, Kaushik, it's coming in the top engine moves, which is something extraordinary over here. Such a move is like a poison pawn kind of a thing. You don't even want to, think of it. looks very risky. अरे इतना ज़्यादा risky कि क्या ही बताए. But for us to understand, like as the other moves where we were talking about bishop e3 as one idea, and then h5 is the move you suggested. I think that does look very natural because firstly you stop this pawn. Secondly, this g4 square is slightly, after the h4, you're not worrying about immediate attack here, and you are getting more control and stopping g4. So after h5, naturally, if you want to think of ideas like, again, this looks maybe f3 g4 is something to sacrifice. Suppose this is what white is going to think about, like in a dragon situation. I think we would be talking about whether to enter such a position because h5 is a committal move. Any pawn move is a committal move there, or to understand what exactly is happening with queen g2. See, the computer then says that a little bit more, like little bit happier for white. So queen g2, let's just try to break it down. Okay, the first move comes to the mind is why not attack this, and that is already not a good idea because black has the only move to save his queen and to go back to f3. The whole thing is opened up. Immediately feels like why not bishop h6, because you are threatening rook g7, bishop g7 and so on. Crazy ideas. And how do you defend here, guys? Let's try to think of defenses. Black to play, not a very impossible one, but just for you to try and think. How will you defend? Oops. Oh, by the way, Gukesh has made a move, but the question is how will you defend? Yes, Priyansh, Meg, Utpal, Arav, Ayan, Shaurya. Very good. So knight g6 and you're basically blocking this. At the same time, you are saying that okay, h5, my knight is easily getting attacked. And what do I do here? The point is now there is no pin and I'm just simply going to capture this. Allow you to capture this. Then capture this pawn back. And say to you that I'm not worried about queen takes h6, which threatens a mate in one because of this final move with black. Black to play. Once again, very quickly, what will you play? Oh, everyone's saying rook f7. That's possible, definitely. But a better way is when your opponent is attacking, when this queen is so sharp, why not exchange it by force? Queen f4 check, takes, rook takes, and you're very, very happy. In fact, if you count the material, black is a pawn up, as well as he has double bishop, so looks completely great. This is in danger and all that. So going back, because we just wanted to understand, we'll come back here, but in the main game, f5 was played by Gukesh. f5. The engines do not like that, but Gukesh had calculated because his next move did not take much time. After h5, which is an intermezzo counter attacking, queen simply goes to f7. And look at Gukesh, he feels very relaxed. Somehow he's liking the position. But MVL goes h6 and it reminds us of yesterday's Praggnanandhaa's game where this pawn on h6 was a complete irritant. And Gukesh says that I am allowing you this. Why is he feeling okay about it is a question. And he never, I don't think this queen g2 even to start calculating was humanly very practical. So he's allowed h6, but abhi kya? What next? Because this is getting very dangerous and this is absolutely to MVL's liking. Crazy. Yeah, it's completely crazy, guys. Wow, I would be worried to have to push g6 as black. Yes, the dark square is look pretty weak. G6, but he has played g6, and somehow, you know what happened? What has happened is Gukesh has like since h4. Look at his time. He had 1 hour 9 minutes on the clock. Okay, then he goes f5 with after just 2.5 minutes of thought over here. MVL doesn't think again because MVL is generally not a very slow player. Generally, he is very good at time management. So he would have understood that position is critical and he would be calculating all the queen g2s and f5s and so on. h5 was also very immediately for him, so he may be expecting f5, and both of them, if you know, were prepared for a move like f5, it would be the most natural idea. Then queen f7 again was played instantly by Gukesh, like 30 seconds or so. Then h6 was also played very quickly in a minute. And then Gukesh plays g6 also quite instantly. And MVL is gone bishop g5 within a minute. And he's gone for the best move here. MVL has found a best move, has his pawn on h6. And once this bishop is moved over here, look at this. Nothing and nobody can say get lost from here. This bishop is the king here, in fact. And suddenly, this bishop, which all the time, that's one of the reason where the Indians were, you know, shouting and crying that take this off, take this guy off. Bishop takes c3 was recommended again and again, was an important idea. यहाँ पे after bishop g5, the bishop stays, the dark squares look weak, and the question is whether Gukesh can create attack, because right now you can say that everything is settled on the king side for Gukesh. Yeah, there is no direct threat, there is no break, there is nothing happening on g7, everything feels protected. In fact, there is a beautiful you know, pressure on the f2 pawn, सब कुछ settled है. तो problem क्या है? What's the problem? Because now you can start with a6, kick the bishop away, then go a5, then go a4, kick the knight away. यहाँ पे a2 is weak, यहाँ पे rook wants to open up, and a3 is going to come. So this plan looks like कि यार ये unstoppable है. The a pawn is getting pushed. Also at some point d5, if at all it comes, it like it's an idea which we have been thinking about, if we are able to get d5 if this is exchanged, so that d4 as well. But constantly this part h7 g7, anything that comes on 7th rank would be completely deadly for black. So very curious to see how this game is gonna pan out. Hans is saying only 22 likes. Sagar will never come. हाँ यार, कितने like हो गए? Guys, come on, let's like the stream before Sagar comes. We will try to have 87 390 हो गया likes अभी. Guys, 390 likes, we are 1300 people at least. अभी 400. अरे फटाफट बढ़ रहे हैं. Thank you. Before Sagar comes, guys, let's make it 1000 likes. 1000 हो जाए बस. 1000, 1000, बस एक ही तो 1000 मांगा है गाइस. कहाँ हजारों हजार मांगा है. थैंक यू. 487. लेट्स गो 500 के लिए. ओनली 13 लाइक्स आर लेफ्ट. Let's go. 500. Yay, 50% mark for 1000. Thank you so much. When you like the stream, it gets recommended, and let's get going with the likes until Sagar comes. But for now, I'm gonna shift to Pragg's game to check if there is gonna be any achar, that is any pickle gonna happen in this endgame. Rook b1 played by Deac. Wait, no, few moves happened. Wait, I have to go back where the rooks got exchanged. Pragg is on the board. Deac is not there on the board. Rook takes c7. b3. e5. h4 was played by Deac. And you can see even he is saying that I'm going to place my pawns on the dark squares. h6 played so that, you know, he can go f6 if he wants to. Or is he going to even try to go g6 f5? I'm wondering, to gain space. King d2, threatening rook c1. a5 by Praggnanandhaa. And you know what Deac is saying? I'm not keen on exchanging, because if I go rook c1, king c1 over here, then, then there is there an interesting idea here. Wait a second. There is one idea, guys. Not necessarily, nothing to do with winning, losing, but an idea which can be very interesting. Black to play. Can you try to think of it? While I get some water. Yes, guys, I had just gone to get some water, but what is the chat saying? The interesting idea I had asked, and I think Shri Hari, Chess 2010, Rishabh, Kamal. Yes, I think e4 is a moment to consider, because imagine if you go in a king pawn endgame, it is completely lost because of this double pawn, the king coming to e6, king d2, king e5, king d3. And in such a scenario, black's king is very good. This king doesn't have the e3 square to go. It, you know, you can land, create a zugzwang, and whenever the king moves, you win this pawn. So that way, black is winning. So an idea to definitely keep in mind, and that's why fe4 would be a forced move going back. And then all the time with king e6, king e5, basically black could threaten king pawn endgame, though white can defend. But important is to learn the idea. Okay, rook b1 played. That's why Deac doesn't even go into that, and he has gone for rook d1. Now maybe king e6, right? King e6, because then it again means that I don't think you can go rook c1. Similar ideas are there possible. Okay, so some tricks for Pragg. Yeah, Pragg will be playing with these tricks, and 44 minutes for Deac, but they have there's nothing to do with time pressure in general. Kenneth says 1000. What are you saying? Are you saying that 1000 like हो गए? नहीं, 566 लाइक्स हो गए गाइस. 600 कर दो, 600. छोटे छोटे गोल मटोल रखेंगे गाइस. 568 हो गया है, बट 600 कर देते हैं. Now let's move to, oh by the way, Sagar aaya hi nahi. I had sent him a Zoom link and I think he must be super busy over there. He must be super busy. But let's go to Gukesh's game right now and see what's happening there, because we have to analyze a bit in depth because it's a very interesting position. Here we have Bishop G5. He went A6 like we were looking at. And Maxim takes the knight. Now, until now, many of the times Bishop C6 used to be the move, but here the engine said, okay, go back or keep your bishop. But again, how can you keep your bishop on A4? You know, it just feels a bit scary at some point to get trapped. So Bishop takes C6 happens, and Gukesh takes the knight with this other knight, which you know didn't really have much to where to go, but it only had to wait कि अगर if you come over here or if you take here, that it was dependent on others. But अभी knight takes c6 के बाद it's a bit self dependent. So the question is, can white go a natural move like knight d5 and threaten knight f6, which looks scary, to keep that knight in the center? So definitely black is going to capture it back, not let it stay there. E takes d5 and knight e5. Once this knight comes to e5, then knight c4 also has to be taken care of, as well as knight g4 ideas. G4 is controlled as well. So also whenever this pawn moves, you have to be careful about knight f3. So it's a beautiful knight here. And the one file which is opened, you are ready to bring in your rooks, or you can play a5 a4. It all depends on, you know, how realistic the attack with a5 a4 is going to happen over here. So knight d5 in fact has happened on the board. MVL goes knight d5 with 47 minutes on the clock. Gukesh is having 1 hour, and he's very clear, like, who is going to allow such a knight? Hans says Sagar posted a very interesting and nice clip about a big chess summer camp. Check it out, guys. You mean the reel or what? Because I think if it is a reel, then I would have edited it. Not sure, but yeah, I think he was recording something related with it. I'd heard. Thank you, Hans, for dropping a message here for me and for everybody here. Neil says, this feels like some tension, some of the tension in the position is resolved. Absolutely, because a big change in the last two moves happened. You know, guys, what is the very big change? From the move number 15th to move number, from move number 16th to move number 18th, if you look at this, then two minor pieces got exchanged. Two minor pieces, which is an important part, because while you're attacking and the pieces are getting exchanged, and white's bishop and one bishop was exchanged, and black also gave up his light square bishop. So if you look at it, some space, because black is having less space because of the h6 pawn over here, because of the d5 pawn over here, black is having less space. So side with less space is generally trying to breathe in. Yeah, so with the exchanging pieces, he gets some breathing space here, and it's a good thing for black for sure. So rook h4 quite immediately played by MVL, and he's asking what's your idea now. But just look at this whole pattern. You know, you just have to keep that in mind. These three guys are definitely have to care about f3 square. So the big responsibility on Jeetu Bhaiya, guys. Jeetu Bhaiya पे बहुत ज़्यादा responsibility आ गया है to guard the f3 square. Another question is, generally we say kick the knights. Yeah. So if f4 was played over here, the problem is this knight has g4 from where it cannot be kicked. And this square, if knight c4 is more tempting because it goes towards the king side, and also the e3. So this looks very, very happy for black. So knight e5 seems like the guy who cannot be kicked away so easily. Yeah, उसको कोई get out तो बोल नहीं सकता है. So rook h4 played. And what are the moves you would suggest here for black? Got it, Hans. Thank you. Neil says knight g4, knight f2, e4. हाँ तभी वैसे भी. That's also good maneuver. Why are some subscriber names in green? Because they are the members. You have the join button over there where you can be a member for the channel, and then we have so many so many gifted members as well. This time where we had a very kind person who have like maybe 200 300 memberships were gifted, and in the last year whatever membership were collected around 8 lakh plus, they will be, the whole amount will be used for laptops, getting laptops for the talented youngsters. So guys, do check out the article. If any mod can put the link of that article, laptop article, because there's also a form which you can fill. So Sushant is saying no join button. No, when you go to the channel, there is a join button, no? What are the moves being suggested? Knight g4 over here. Rook f8. Acha, knight g4 directly, guys. You want to go knight g4 directly. But he goes rook f8. This was a very good suggestion by many of you who wanted to go here to attack this. Because if you allow f3, this time this is controlled. Okay. And if you go knight f2, the problem is after rook f1, your knight is getting trapped. It doesn't have anywhere to go. So 2 pieces for rook. White is very happy with that because his pieces are beautifully activated. Okay, not this knight yet. It has to come in the game, and imagine this knight if it reaches e6. Oh my god. Deadly. Firstly, what will happen is it will close the e file for the rook. Secondly, it will be attacking these bases. Thirdly, the queen on c3. Okay, looks all dangerous. But until the queen is there, and in the only mating idea would be on g7, queen g7 check. I often just see the mating pattern which can be possible. And yeah, you would like the knight on f6 check, but it's not gonna happen because yeah, it's not so easy for the knight to reach there. Okay, so rook f8 played by Guki right now. He's played the move here, and MVL needs to make a very important move, because if he doesn't, oh, he makes it without a thought. Wow. And that move was actually such a powerful move, because it firstly takes away the g4 square for the knight. Secondly, look at the rook here defending the c4 square for the knight. Thirdly, the e3 is very beautifully guarded by this bishop. And now there is no pawn on f2 which was coming under any attack. So if you look at it, if the knight cannot move, then this open file doesn't make much sense for the rook. Because what is this rook doing from e8? It has really nowhere. It has to just wait. It's like in the queue. पता नहीं क्यों, but it is in the queue. So यहाँ पे after f3, basically, what a move. No, this is a very good move which MVL has found, and that is the reason maybe here it was important to also calculate knight g4, but f3 knight f2 was not working. I think when I look at this position on a practical level, when you want to go back here, you don't like it. Like, it feels like the same position but even without rook e8. So, very incredible move which was suggested here by the engines. Black to play. Insane. What is the move, guys? What is the move? Black to play. Completely insane. Oh, we have Ganesh Babu, who is the backer of Indian Chess, the newest member. Arey, thank you, Ganesh. Thank you so much. Yes, all this is, no, really, all of, like, it's just a community there which is, we have all of us built together. मजा ही आ जाता है. Bishop f3, bishop f2, bishop f2, f4, queen d7, knight f6, queen d7. Nobody has suggested the move, and the move is like, actually, I don't know why. Okay, let me just show you the move, and then we will try to find out why. Rook a e8, and you don't care about this because of, oh my god, this was very tough. Come on, that's obvious that why you couldn't go knight g4, because it's hard to think of this in the game. Crazy है भाई, ये मतलब अलग ही है, क्या ही बोलूं. Like guys, I cannot express it in English the way I can express it in Hindi. So it's just so different and unique and amazing. Yes, Neil, Tapion, Anurag, Abhi, Hans, Sneha, Nikunj, Sugansun, Priyanshu, Meg, Advait, Sai. Amazing. F4 is the move, and look at it. It is saying like how to think about this. Yeah, knight g4, f3 aaya, the knight is attacked. Firstly, you'll try to think about the knight f2. You will reject. You will say, okay, knight e5 doesn't improve the position, and then you will reject. But now you have to tell your mind ki bhai, think of something else. Think of rook a8. And then when you say ki arey fe4, fg4, the piece is hanging, you can't really think of that. Because immediately nothing is happening. Nothing, like you cannot attack this, though it looks like kind of trap. But f4, the idea is bishop e3 and the spin, and that's where we again and again talk about prophylaxis. That if the king was on b1, such a kind of a tactic was not even possible. But wait, even if f4 and bishop e3 is coming, what's the big deal? Because it is so easy to stop that. Let's say with knight d4. And the real reason is right now. What is the move black should play that the whole calculation was actually working? Black to player. Absolutely crazy idea. I mean, no chance to find it. Yeah, crazy. Atif says cannot express in English is नहीं, हाँ, English में the way, how should I express it, guys? Help me. Wow, we do have Neil, Kamal, Meg, Naman and Sai Pawan finding the right move, which is rook e5, and this bishop is trapped. Look at the beautiful way, like just the geometry, yeah? How a piece is trapped. It is uniquely trapped. Very rarely you get to see this. Now a question is, because many of you had also suggested the move queen d5 and attacking the bishop, and actually why not, because winning the pawn as well. The problem here is, which we will analyze why it didn't work earlier, knight f3, defending the bishop, allowing bishop e3, insane calculations, queen takes e3, and queen is hanging. So if you take here, then white is like having two pieces up, not even for a rook. So oops. And if queen d1, king d1, fe3, then you have two pieces for the rooks, and because the files are closed, this is kind of you cannot really, like, it's very well controlled, the passer. The pawn will be lost maybe eventually. This is good. So that's why not queen d5, but very tough. And that's why after f4, rook, wait a second, after f4, knight d4, rook e5, and over here you don't play this because of bishop e3. It's a simple pin. So this pin shows that prophylaxis was important. Prophylaxis means the preventive measure for such tactics. You just know it intuitively कि भाई ये होने वाला है. Like if at all, let's say, if you know in your society, if they say कि the water is not gonna come, for 1 day, suppose, भर के रखना, तो पानी भर के रखेंगे. वैसे वाला मूव है किंग B1, F3 फिर खेल दिया. बट क्या ही मजा आया. What all tactics, guys. Solid. कैसा लगा? How did you find it? How were the whole tactics? I think I am gonna tell this to Sagar for Chess Ranga, because it's a unique piece trap and it's a unique way to kind of sacrifice. बहुत सही था. Too beautiful. Yes, rook e5 is possible to find actually. Queen d5 had some crazy calculations as well. Whew. Wow. So let's go to tactics was better than analogy. Agreed completely. Let's go to Pragg's game and we'll come back over here again quickly. But for now, time to go to... Oh, by the way, yeah, Pragg's game. Okay, a few things have happened over there, and this time Pragg is not the board. I mean, in this board, one of them is just not there, yeah? So king, rook b1, rook c8, we saw this. a3 was played. He's making sure to keep put the pawns on the dark squares. King goes to d6, yahan pe. The king is on d6, and as we know, one of the ideas is e4 to take care of. But Deac is down to 33 minutes, because why Pragg would be looking at that, because it becomes a very important element to put pressure. In such an equal position, it becomes a very important part, that coming down to 1 or 2 minutes, usually you land up in situations of perfect moves and then all the chaos, yeah? So king d6 played by Pragg, but he doesn't seem like in any mood to draw immediately. He's having 1 hour 7 minutes on the clock, so around 35 minutes more. 35 minutes more than his opponent. And if Deac keeps thinking, it's not just that even if Deac has enough time, it's also the time difference, the time gap between both of them, like this 35 minutes, that can put slight pressure as well. Mohit says, I feel Pragg is now exploring his instinctive parts as well. And in 1 or 2 years, he will get wonderful results on maximum occasions. Your views on that? I definitely feel so, Mohit, that, Pragg is going to be, like, Pragg is already right there. But more and more is going to be having some amazing results, because there have been number of times where towards the end, the winning positions to convert, I think that has been a problem, and number of times time pressure has been. So you can already see some progress with every weakness of theirs, which is not even at a small level. Like if we say a time pressure problem at a very intermediate level, it will be huge problem. But there they are at a good position there, like, and even there they have already reached 90%, and then they are trying to make that effort, and every 1% of improvement there is going to be a lot more effort than what it was needed from 0 to 50, right? So I am completely agreeing with you that Pragg's results are only going to keep improving, and actually every player will get a phase where he will be stuck for some time, then he will work on his whatever intricate weaknesses, and then again he will kind of move to the next level, whichever it is for him. So that's going to happen with everybody, be it Gukesh, be it Arjun. But yeah, I think we'll come back here because this game is going on a bit slow. Let's go to Gukesh's game. F3 has been played, and we still need to just have them full screen for a while and try to sense the tension here. Okay, MVL is not exactly fitting in the camera, but this is the best. Yeah. Let me quick get the board. Let me also get the clocks. And Gukesh is about to make the move. Both of them have equal time, exact time. Oops, wait, this clock has to be changed because Gukesh is down to, yeah, this comes over here and this goes over here. Both of them on 46 minutes, and this is the 20th move. So in fact, they have to do 20 more moves, and it could get complicated. We can say that it could lead to time pressure situation, but for now things look fine. Gukesh goes back bishop a7. He goes with the best engine move here, bishop a7, and says, now, my dear, I am ready to go b5. I have waited for so long to, settle things over here, to take care of my king, my pieces, my whole family. But now is the time I will go and experiment. But he actually is gone from the board. So, that's the thing, guys. b5. He's ready for b5. Hi Srishti, I just had a vague look, but I think after the event, because it's been a bit heavy with the commentary and a lot of work, but we'll definitely get back to you in some days. Thank you for writing. Yep. Okay. What are your suggestions for white, by the way? Again, as we had said, that first move comes in the mind, g4, very easily discarded, knight f3, you cannot allow. So here it's all closed and blocked. Okay, the roads are blocked. The bishop here is well placed, but at a deeper look, there is nothing to attack. Like it's there for the support kind of. The rook is more of a defensive rook to kind of protect here, but immediately if you see, it also is blocked by its own pawn, and really cannot go anywhere. This knight would want to jump here. So for white, yeah, knight a5 has been, king b1 always works, Samir. King b1 always works. Even now, it's the best move by the engine. So first question for me would also be to activate the knight. If you look at all the pieces, it feels like which piece can be improved, and immediately you think the knight on b3 can be improved. It would love to come on f6, by the way, but you see that literally there is no way to reach f6 for now, literally. So it seems a bit impractical. Now if you go knight d4, because knight a5, I think what you want to do is knight c4 also exchange at the same time, and it's a move to, it's a good move in fact, wanting to exchange this. The question is, why not knight d4? Okay, the problem is very simple, because d5 was hanging, and this time it just, a pawn is lost, so you cannot go knight d4. Oh, then it means that knight f5 is definitely an important move to consider, a natural move, because you are improving your knight. And if the pawn goes to where? Because if you go b5 and continue with the plan, because you're also taking away the c4 square for this knight, but you're also saying that I don't really care about the c6 square, because if you come to c6, it's a big blunder. Why is knight c6 a big blunder, guys? A very simple question there. Why is knight c6 a blunder? Ooh, c4, baapre. Knight c6, yes, Neil Itachi Arey, hello from Ireland. That's cool, Andrew. Knight, yes, Boris Spassky also finds it. Knight c6, then it is a pin. Look at this pin. A2 is gone. And once again, you see, if the king was on b1, such tactics would not be possible anyway. But that's another question, whether white would love to go knight c6 or not, or it could even be not a good idea. But still, with such situations where you observe that the a2 pawn is hanging, it is not protected by anything, you keep that as an observation in the mind. So bishop a7 has been played here, and white is thinking, I think MVL, now that we are analyzing, I do think he'll just go king b1 and wait, and then ask his opponent, what's your plan? Because after king b1, the decision is more on Gukesh, how he wants to improve. And I believe the natural idea is to go b5. But once b5 is played, then this knight sits on a5. Okay, it cannot be really kicked away with a pawn. Of course, you can keep bishop b6, and the queen will be unnecessarily tied down. That's possible. But we are going into king b1, knight a5, whichever move order, I do think. Adapt says from Cayman here. Oh, Cayman Islands. I heard it's very beautiful, right? Is playing c4 too weakening for white? Oh, over here. Let me think of it without an engine's evaluation. c4, maybe I'm happy. I think I would be happy for black for c4. Yes. Because immediately b5. Immediately you're breaking. In fact, you were waiting, you wanted a hook, and with c4 you've given a hook. So that's a happy thing. So king b1, that's prophylaxis for you guys. Waiting and questioning Gukesh. What is your next move? And Gukesh, I think, is not going to take too much time here. He's going to go b5. Okay, one more question, guys. Another break, if you want to consider in the future, the problem is c6, right? But the problem is, whenever we are going to push the pawn, this has been the base of the pawn chain, which means that d6 is protected. And once this pawn moves, our d6 guy is going to be very weak. But if we are able to do that by using any tactical means with rook c8, c6 ko mara, so there is rook c6, defending this, opening the file, then that is another idea, and it could lead to a little bit Sicilian kind of structures. But such a file here is a long-term problem for black king. Long term, because the pawn creates a lot of back rank weaknesses. h7 is the base, which will kind of can crumble. g7 pe check aega to, and the dark square bishop is a complete annoyer, I would say, for the end game. So that's why I think such an idea doesn't feel very tempting, and b5 is something I think we will be looking at. Cayman is very beautiful, but it's also very expensive. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, what about other games? Let's just quickly have a look at other games. We won't have the cameras for them, but just to have a look. Fabi, who is also on 2 out of 3, having a good tournament, is having slight advantage against Nodirbek. And his last move was knight e5 here. He has a beautiful outpost on c5 for his knight. This square which is being protected by the pawn and the rook. So very happy for that. The bishop, fiancé to bishop, putting pressure on d5 indirectly. At some point, maybe if 3-4 ideas could be, but I think not now. Firstly, bishop e5, d5, and knight d3 is a problem, no? So what was his plan? Wait a second. Okay. If bishop e5, then you take this knight. Got it. Okay, so Fabi having slight edge. Firouzja versus Wesley having something crazy going on here. e5 was the last move, and Firouzja is on a roll to attack over here, creating the attack with the queen and knight and the bishop. So interesting things going on. And usually, guys, in such a scenario, there is a typical tactical pattern. When the queen is on d7, there is a typical disco pattern which is knight at 6, and most of the times this queen is not protected. So knight at 6 and you win the queen. But over here, the knight on b7 protects it, so it is safe. So e5 has been played, and they are thinking over here mostly FED. Then we have Pragg. Okay, let's go to Pragg, guys, because some moves have been happening there. After rook b1, rook c8 was played, a3, king d6, bishop e2. He went back, and g5 by Pragg. Pragg is putting all his pawns on dark squares here. If h5, then that I don't think is a good idea. A little bit, yes, it helps black with expansion over here, and then at some point this will become weak. So h5 would be a positional error. If he takes here, then another file is opened, and actually a question happens is where if rook has to go to h1, which right now it cannot because it has to protect the b3. So then black is saying that I am the one who is taking the control of this file, and even if you get the control of this file, I am controlling the key squares. So looks very practically something for black with hg5. So what I'm maybe thinking is, if he will, can he just play g3? But then at the same time, even the g file is opening. Wow, g5 is a great move. I think practically it is starting to put some pressure on Deac. 26 minutes for Deac and 15 moves to be made. In fact, for one move, Deac, we can say, doesn't even have 2 minutes. Whoa. Cool. That's a very good, if really Pragg manages to beat Deac, in this endgame, guys, we really have to, like Sagar would have said that I will bet my house and all that, but we really must give a standing ovation to Pragg. And even if it is like bad moves at some point or inaccuracies by Deac, that would be based on all this pressure which he's putting. I would say the chances of black managing to win are very low. It is technically it would be maybe 10% technically, but it's Pragg. Praggnanandhaa is playing with the black pieces, and let's see. House already lost. Okay, by the way, there is Vaishali's game which is also going on after Pragg. I think it's perfect to go and just have a look at her game. She's playing in Austria and with Zhu Jinner. What an opposition here. Sicilian. We see Sicilian a lot in women's section. Knight c6 has been played here. B takes c6. Once again, you have captured towards the center for d5. And e5, this is all theory. Knight d5, knight goes to e4. You see this is weak, but not to give him the space. At some point, f5 also comes in. Bishop goes to b7. Bishop d3, there also lines with c4. Queen c7, f4 played. c5, opening up this bishop over here. c4 now, kicking this knight away, but the knight is ready to jump into c6 and d4. And for now, this guy is also opened up. Bishop goes to b1. You definitely don't want to get rid of this beautiful bishop, which could create some Greek gift ideas of sacking it. Bishop at 7, king at 7, and creating the mating nets. So bishop goes to b1. The knight comes back to c6. It's all still, I think, theory, but somehow maybe Vaishali is thinking. She is down to 54 minutes at this moment, and Zhu Jinner has used only 4 minutes. She castles. Vaishali develops the bishop to e7, bishop e3. Now c5 is under attack, but the knight goes to d4. I think bishop e3 was not a very good move according to the engines, but knight goes to d4, and it has made Zhu Jinner to start thinking a lot. It's been 7 minutes since she's thinking what to do, because guys, a quick question, very quick, 25 people to answer. Why is the move queen d4 blunder? 25 people. Oops, sorry, not working because this is controlled. Bishop c5 is not happening. So what is the point? Why has she given a pawn? But still, what's the only move? Crazy. What's the only move? Very tough. Very tough on... Actually, no, it's... How did she assist? Vaishali. Oh my god. Giving up this pawn. Wow. Wow, man. Kamal says your house is like the Undertaker's life. Darla says, like how you explain why the stupid moves we might make won't work. glad. Wow, guys, this is, I don't know, like, look at this, okay? So, firstly, I want to bring to your notice that bishop takes d4, c takes d4. White has given up his bishop for the knight, and the dark square bishop, which is considered a very important bishop in Sicilian, especially in these e6 and Paulson and these kind of 4-knight kind of Sicilians where the structure is different. But mostly in Sicilian, dark square bishop is very important. So there are many moments when you can actually sack a pawn just to get that bishop. So queen d4, okay. Now the move is bishop takes e4, only move. Queen takes e4 is forced. Now bishop takes e4 is a blunder because of the spin. And after queen takes e4, the whole point is that black's rook is attacked, so he can play rook b8 or rook c8. Now this is what is the engine saying to attack this. Pushing b3 and then giving a check. This is, oh my god. So basically you go into the opposite colored bishop with a less pawn and it's equal. So that's, wow. I don't know if it is it could be preparation by Vaishali. I think highly possible, but looking at a time 38 minutes, if she has assessed this, it is incredible, completely incredible. Yeah, so very well found. Going to back to our GCT, Pragg has made the move, and guys, 1000 like ho gaye ki nahi? How many likes have we got? Because very soon Sagar is going to join and we are at 746 likes. Oh my god, already. सही है, beautiful. क्या 1000 हो जाएगा? क्या लगता है? Let's see in 60 seconds whether we can make 1000 likes, because Mr. Sagar Shah is here. The chief guest has come in. Yeah. देखते तो है 784 हो गए. We are already reaching 800. Sagar, wait a second. 1300 people there. More and more joining.
गाइस जल्दी लाइक कर दो गाइस, जल्दी
ऑडियो दे दो. कल 800 पे तुम्हारा ऑडियो आ रहा था. कैसा था उधर पर सागर?
बहुत सही था,
बहुत सही था. बहुत लोग आए
आज तो, बहुत फुल
क्रेजी. अरे सही है. Wow, we have reached 815, 820, 825, 850, 900. ये मेरे सपने हैं. Okay guys, Sagar is gonna join anyway right away. Welcome Mr. Shah. Missing the background music.
Hello guys, welcome. How are you?
अरे क्यों? अरे लगाओ ना प्लीज, इतना फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. वैसे भी डोंट केयर अबाउट द लुक्स. चलना लगाना.
नहीं अच्छा दिखता है ये ज्यादा.
लगाना प्लीज. थोड़ी देर लगा.
नहीं सच में.
अरे डार्क लग रहा है.
नहीं ठीक है, you get used to it.
Oh, then you get used to the light, no?
नहीं,
look better to get
in the
used.
camera. Really?
अच्छा. Okay guys, we will have this discussion next time. For now, entry हो जाए.
दिल ने बारी एंट्री यार, दिल में बजी घटिया. सॉरी, एंट्री है.
क्या गा?
पता नहीं. Oh, but this looks very even between Pragg and Deac.
Pragg played g5 here. Yeah, it's a
I mean, if there is someone who can still try and put some pressure, it's Pragg. But I mean, logically, it'll end in a draw.
But I think Pragg is putting pressure. But e4 is a move which I did not expect, Sagar, because I thought, light square space he will try to avoid the putting the pawns. But he understands. Deac is understanding. He plays this move at the right time to avoid all those ideas, guys, which were suddenly coming with black c4. And he himself goes e4, bishop goes back, and now b4. So Deac is absolutely alert, not giving any chances, and this is the position. But Sagar, this is one game. Pragg has a lot of time, but mostly will end in a draw. Going to Gukesh's game because crazy ho raha hai.
Oh.
Scotch, which opening was played? Scotch.
Scotch.
By
Okay,
MVL.
let me just look at the position without looking at the bar and try to understand what's going on. It feels like this pawn on h6 that has come in here, along with the dark square weaknesses, should definitely give white an edge here. Also, the knight could jump in, but for now, this pawn is weak. This bishop is well controlling. It looks like a complicated position, but maybe slightly better for white. Is that correct evaluation?
Evaluation तो दिख रहा है ना तुम्हें?
मैंने कहा ही नहीं.
अच्छा, कैसे avoid किया?
I'm just trying. I'm just focusing here.
क्या
like on the
नजर
board.
है यार तेरी?
Yes,
Amazing.
I was just trying.
Amazing. No, evaluation, you're right. Absolutely. Slight edge for white. This is correct. But practically, what do you think? Like, if you're black, would you be very stressed about the position? Would you be okay about the position?
I mean, I'm looking at what should black do as an active plan here. Like, I want to push my pawn here, but that doesn't look great because after takes, my pawn becomes weak in the center. I want to jump with my knight, perhaps this square, then enter here. Okay, that seems like a very, very potent plan, like coming in here. I have to calculate that. This rooks I
Right
want
now,
to...
there is a rook on h4,
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Oh my God. I can't even do that.
Yeah.
So I can't do this. I can't move my knight anywhere. Maybe I can do this maneuver, trying to trade off this knight. But the moment I come here, he might jump here. So it does look very, very difficult to find even a move for Gukesh.
No, there are some moves, Sagar, which are definitely okay. Like, you want to expand on the queen side, right?
Yeah, so maybe b5, but
Yeah.
b5, I'm also a bit afraid of knight sitting in here.
But honestly, the knight on c6
won't do much.
is not much to worry. But knight c4 is something, an idea.
Oh,
Because you wanna
definitely.
go knight c4.
So this is a great move then. I think
This is something which we are expecting. But the only thing is, once you go b5,
yeah,
white knight will sit on a5 and stop the knight coming to c4. So
But I
here,
can
what is
attack
your
it.
next move? Bishop b6.
I
but
try
you
to
cannot.
take it.
You won't take it, right? Anyway,
Why
because
not?
it's.
I can take and then put my knight here.
Oh, you are okay to give away that bishop.
Yes, why not? Because then my knight sits here. Then I can try to double down the e file. I have some things, but I do feel that for a player like MVL, these are the kinds of positions that he excels in. He's really good at such positions. And Gukesh today, after 3 draws, is definitely under pressure because on one hand, you want to prove that you are the world champion, that you are the best classical player in the world. On the other hand, you are getting into trouble. Like against Deac, he could have lost yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And you know what? Today, there were some insanely critical moments.
Yeah.
I mean, insane calculations. मतलब मुझे दिखाना ही है. Once, whenever Harshit joins, I'm going to take you to that position and ask you a few questions because बहुत मजा आया.
Right,
We enjoyed analyzing
Yeah, maybe
crazy.
He might be here. And also, guys, I got some news, Amruta, while I was on my way. I haven't checked it very carefully, but it seems like there is going to be ceasefire.
Yes, it's a great news.
And
it's amazing.
have to read more on it because I was there at the camp. But if that is the news, guys, that is great. And it is like maybe the happiest news that we can hear today because then everyone is safe and we can get back to building things. and building some great stuff in the world, and not
Absolutely.
destroying things and so on. Yeah.
You are very right. It's a great happy news. बाकी अभी समझा कि छोटे छोटे ब्रेकअप चलते रहेंगे बट बड़े बड़े नहीं चाहिए.
Yes, in the chat they are saying yes, it's ceasefire. Yes, for sure, it's called off. Okay, great.
Oh, being brilliant in chess after a long time. Good to see you over here. अरे क्या बात है. Also, a very nice question asked by Lark. How to understand such positions? What kind of a position is this? And actually today the position which we have, he goes bishop e6, not the best idea. But today this position is I would completely put it in a very tough position category, Sagar.
Yeah, especially when your opponent is MVL. I think
Also
what
that,
people...
but otherwise also to, some moves are not happening naturally, and something which feels natural may not be the best kind of a thing. Like he goes bishop b6, but it's a clear-cut idea is like, I don't want a knight on a5.
Also a5.
And b5, there are these lines in Sicilian where you go b5 and the knight sits on a5, and after that it's like black can just not create any attack. There are such lines, okay, and it is literally, I'm telling you, I have played that and black feels very suffocated.
But guys, Amruta is a very big expert in the Sicilian. You should check out her games.
If you check out, they'll find my losses.
No, there are some great games, some great ideas, and but Amruta, bishop b6 by Gukesh does stop that idea. But on the other hand,
he wants to go a5, a4.
Yes.
Which feels like, okay, that doesn't stop, because I will go a5, I will go a4, then bishop a5, then b5, and that is what I'm talking about. This feels a very natural thing for him कि भाई stagnancy नहीं चाहिए मुझे life में.
Right. Oh, by the way, big news, Amruta. Praggnanandhaa has just drawn his game here against Deac, and the players have already left. So they did not even wait for analyzing or anything.
To change the camera.
But I think it's a great news for Pragg and Pragg fans here, because in a way Pragg won yesterday a very crucial game against Nodirbek, and today with the black pieces he has drawn. So in 4 games he has 3 draws with black, 1 win with white. Tomorrow he will have white again against MVL, which will be a huge one there. So good play there by Pragg. So all eyes now on Gukesh, and how is he going to fight against MVL, guys? I must tell you this, MVL as a player is so strong. He is French top player, not number 1 because of Alireza Firouzja, but he's crossed 2800 elo, Amruta.
Oh yeah.
He's one of those 16 players in the world to have crossed 2800. And he's also like just an incredibly talented, free-flowing player. Like he just understands chess so well.
No, absolutely true. And we in 2017 when we were at Tbilisi, that time in the finals, you remember who reached the finals?
Yeah.
Who?
Aronian and Dingleren.
Yeah. So, but in the semi-finals, do you remember? Aronian beat whom?
Yeah, MVL.
Yeah, exactly. And that time we saw him very, very closely, in fact.
Yes.
With all these matches. Very creative guy. Today also, I think there's some moments when he had some better choices. By the way, Sachin in the chat saying, watching chess, my niece Mugda Sathe, a budding chess player from Mumbai.
Arey Mugda, great to see you. Thank you so much for following this tournament, guys. Thanks to all of you who are following this. We are able to take some bold decisions with regards to how we want to cover events. For example, right now...
Bold decision to keep Amruta here until I go to the camp.
Yes, no, Amruta, of course, being here makes it possible for me to do something that I love deeply in my heart, which is to go to this camp and to just meet people, to help little kids kickstart their journey of chess and so on. So, Amruta, without you, I might not have been able to do this. So I'm very, very grateful.
इतना serious नहीं करना है.
No, I really feel I have enjoyed it so much. Today there were like close to 150 people, more than that, who came. We had like 10.
Tomorrow Sunday, how are you going to manage?
No, tomorrow it will be even more. But we had like visually impaired players came 10 of them. and Lions Club, who is a local Lions Club here, gave 100 watches to the visually impaired player, or the talking watches. That project also happened during the camp. There was this one little boy, by the way, he's played a move, he's played his knight still. Wow. MVL is like, you don't want to push b5, I will still put my knight here and attack your pawn here, Amruta. And Gukesh has to take, I believe.
Absolutely, but I want to hear what happened, and like these watches were given.
These watches, like you click a button and it tells you the time. So it's very nice project.
Will it also, like, if you can watch, like, not a smartwatch?
No, it's just a simple watch, but it was very nicely done. And then we had this boy whom we really love at the chess club, Nimai Bhanushali, who is like, when we started the club, he was the under 10 Maharashtra champion. Now he's 13 years old. He's reached 1800 and he decided to celebrate his birthday today at the camp. So there was a chess cake, and then so many people came and were cutting, and then they were like, I think his parents were like, let's go to bowling, and he was like, no, chess is more fun than bowling. And so it was a lot of fun.
Beautiful.
Karan is like, Sagar bhai, chess classes de do. Karan bhai, you should come here to the camp. Yeah, it's like amazing what is happening here. And we want to do such big chess camps everywhere. It creates a beautiful atmosphere of people. There were, like, Amruta, women like mothers who were like 50 years old who were learning. There were kids who were like 4 or 5 years old learning. It was like amazing setup.
Wow, you're gonna show the photos later, like yesterday, maybe, or tomorrow.
Yes.
But also Hans had mentioned in the chat that a nice video was put up today. He said some title about the camp, today.
Oh yes,
So
today I just this idea.
He said it was very nice.
I have put it. I've just shared this idea with you, and I feel it's a very nice one, and it can help everyone involved. By the way, Amruta, it's a very crucial moment for Gukesh here, because in a way the knight coming here, I guess you don't want to play a move like rook b8. It's passive. The rook becomes not so active. So maybe you want to just chop off the knight, but
but the engines are shouting that it's not good.
So one idea I thought was b6, a5, putting all the pawns like that. Clearly, I would be creating, like, for example, if you think about this line, I would be creating.
I just want to show something very fantasy kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Very fantasy. Why is... No. Suppose you go here. Okay. Oh, it's not working because now the king is over here. But anyway, it won't work. I'm just looking at some ideas with back rank. Sorry. So what you're saying is bishop takes a5, queen takes a5, and now b6.
And I was also thinking b6 or b5, because now I want to put my knight here on c4.
But the knight on c4 now has nothing really to do, right?
Actually, one move that can be incredibly strong here, if I am seeing it right, could be b3.
Exactly. I was also looking if you get a queen and bishop together.
Yes, guys.
Mate.
Guys, look at this idea which Amruta has also spotted. Put your bishop here, bring it here on this long diagonal, move the queen back, push the pawn forward, and it's checkmate here on the long diagonal. So
I think bishop b6 is getting more trouble on you after knight a5. Gukesh will have to be a little bit street smart, He cannot make like just the best moves only. He will have to make practically best moves.
Yes, but it's not so simple what to do, because you don't want to lose this pawn here on b7. But maybe giving up this pawn is not so bad, Amruta, because
but what will you give?
If I push a5, your knight is trapped. So...
But what is the move right now? Okay, let's say I go queen d7.
Yes, queen d7. The main point is after knight b7, a5. Now you don't have rook a4 to kind of attack the a5 pawn.
Okay.
So that way the knight is trapped.
But then my threat is rook a7 and the knight is getting trapped. But you may have f4, yeah? No, but you don't want to give g4. It has always been worse.
Be queen c3 maybe.
And the same idea
of queen
same
c6.
Idea. With the idea of bishop c1, b3, no? No? Like rook a7.
Queen c6 I was
thinking. Knight c6.
Oh, sorry.
हो जाता है.
f4 or what?
Yep. F. Oh my god. And another move. F4 definitely is a good move. But there is one more move which is okay. What's the nice move here? Interesting move.
Oh.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
Not so easy, guys. Not
Magnus
so
is
easy.
asking आज बहुत crazy opening हुआ fried liver और scotch. नहीं, scotch हुआ है, scotch. Absolutely. Oh, Hans says, oh my, this Alpha Zero H6 pawn is way stronger than we think.
Yeah, but I don't
agree
find
with
a
you.
move for white here. Maybe our chat
Yes,
could
Neil
help us.
Modi has found knight d8.
Whoa. Oh.
Rook d8.
Bishop d8.
No, that's lost. Then queen d8 and this is attacked. You don't get time for f4. Intermezzo.
F4.
Only move, but deadly combination. f4 now. And this is attack. And where do you go with the knight? If you go knight g4,
d8.
now bishop d8 you can't take because of finally this h6 pawn.
Wow.
By h6 pawn is a long-term investment. Matlab, you just become rich on the chessboard with the pawn on h6.
Yeah, but I mean, did Gukesh have a chance somewhere to stop that pawn before it was coming?
h5, yes, we analyzed h5 over here.
Like I just for all
yeah,
our
look
viewers.
at our look at the opening. I would like to show here very quickly. Castle, long castle d6, and he played bishop e6. Bishop e5 was played.
Bishop d5 is such a weird move, right?
Yeah, not the best idea though. Queen g6, h4 was played here, and there was bishop. Best would be to get rid of this bishop, like to exchange it. But something here we kind of took a moment because Sagar, it was extremely shocking for us that the computer is even considering queen takes g2 as a top move.
Wow.
Crazy tha. But yeah, I think h5 was another idea which we are looking at. So he played f5, which I think wasn't the best move. h5 was kind of necessary, but f5 is again the most natural. So whatever he played were pretty natural moves there. This was good. This, I think he kind of sorted with some issues here. Rook h4 was a nice move, but rook e8 was played. Yeah, look here. Knight g. Look here. There was an insane calculation. Knight g4.
Yeah.
f3. And you know what you will play here?
f4 maybe.
Oh, you already suggest f4. Wow. Okay, knight. Okay, then you will find it. Rook e8. And then if takes, then f4. With the idea of bishop e3. And if knight d4, then rook e5.
So there's some move.
Take it. Let's go.
Seems like Gukesh, Amruta, you were talking about Gukesh having to do something really street smart. He has pushed the pawn, but instead of being street smart, it is actually going to lead him to a lost position here. B takes c6. And now Gukesh, what?
No, I mean, I understand why he did this because you feel the need for opening up the position, doing something, creating some chaos.
It's like someone is trying to do this, and you're like, you want to break free, you want to just get out from the. Can you come in the frame?
Yeah, but how can I?
No, you are outside the frame. So someone is just trying to sort of take away all the breathing space from you and you just want to lash out. But Amruta, now the question to our chat is, does this pawn, taking this pawn work?
Blunder.
It doesn't work in many ways, I believe.
Simple bishop e5.
I was thinking first rook d8, but that's bad because we have the bishop takes, queen takes,
and
bishop takes, rook takes, and it's a problem. But just bishop a5 and black is pieced up.
Blunder.
So can't win this pawn. You want to take here, but the knight is defending it.
Wait a second. Actually, now what? F4 or what now?
Yeah, if you play f4, I guess this is what
I never liked this move because of the g4 square forever. Like you.
Yeah, also you put your bishop out from there. And Amruta, there could be some very big ideas here. For example, take, and knight c4. I was imagining this, the rook coming in. So not even f4, but there seems to be a very, very powerful move, guys, here that white has. I have not seen the engine, so I'm also trying to think along with you what that move ought to be. You may want to swing your rook here, but then bishop a5 pins it. Rook d4, but then the bishop takes it.
हिंदी ChessBase India in the chat. सागर भाई के एग्जाम्पल गजब है.
अरे निखिलेश भाई कैसे हो? निखिलेश भाई ने एकदम ही खुशी का माहौल है अभी at this point. So by the way, look at MVL. He's so tired there, Amruta. He's rubbing his eyes, and I think something, maybe he's just taking, he wants to make his move, Amruta, but it's like he's not 100% sure what the move should be. But
yeah, he is tired.
He's about to make his move. Gukesh comes back. Gukesh is like, भाई अब तो एकदम ध्यान से खेलना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो धुलाई हो सकता है ये पोजीशन में. I might get into big trouble. Queen c3. Oh my god, it's the best move. Amruta.
My god,
MVL is on fire, guys. I didn't even see the move, but the bar didn't even flinch one bit, which means that MVL now has a big position, better position. And what's happening? Firstly, the threat is to take the pawn here. If you take bishop takes knight, queen takes knight, and this rook is attacking this pawn, it's just too weak. The dark squares are tremendously weak here. Queen c3. Insane decision here. Big decision by MVL. Guys, do you feel like this position should be so bad? I mean, or are you of this opinion that the engine is just overestimating the chances of white? Look at Gukesh, how he's calculating, guys. He's closed his eyes. He's thinking there. He's trying to make things work in his mind. Wow, look at Gukesh's focus. He's down to 20 minutes on the clock. This is going to be a tough phase for him, Amruta. Having a position which is so worse and then having to defend it.
No, he wasn't. I think from opening, MVL has managed to put some pressure. In fact, one of the moment where he had short castled, the line wasn't very something which was recommended by the engines as such. But because he played it very quickly, it felt like he would be prepared over there with some ideas. And that's what, when sometimes you know the ideas in general, like f5 is a very common idea in Scotch. So then you kind of, when you play that, and sometimes it just doesn't work the best, then you land in some trouble. But MVL has played well.
By the way, Amruta, we have a super chat by Karan. बोलते हैं भाई इंडिया होता तो आता कैंप पे ऑनलाइन क्लासेस दे दो. Karan, the best thing that I can suggest, and I keep doing this time and again, is that you can send me your Chesscom ID and play some good games on it, like just your early chess ID wherever you play, and then I can go through your game and suggest a few points of improvement. You can write to chessbaseindia@gmail.com. Thank you, bhai.
By the way, wait.
Whoa, man, Amruta, just when it's getting very intense here.
Rook d6. What about rook d6 is the question, Sagar.
Yes, but it's black to play right now.
Hello, sir, says Harshit Raja in the chat. Mohit says, hi Sagar and Amruta, as a rookie who doesn't understand chess very deeply yet and has just started learning, could you please elaborate on how good these players are? Gukesh, Pragg and Arjun. Ooh, they are the what to say? Virat Kohli's and Dhoni's and
Yeah,
more cricket names I don't know, but yeah, absolutely the top chess players of the world. They are in world top 10,
no, for sure, for sure.
and Gukesh is of course the world champion there. So
Guys, for now, Gukesh is in trouble, but today he might be staring at a defeat because it's one thing to have a worse position against Deac in the time pressure phase, and it's quite another to have it against MVL in a position where there's so many things happening. I was just wondering, like, for example, think about it. If I push c5 here, I want to save this pawn, but then you go just simply boom bam, you take that pawn on d6. If I push my pawn to d5, then you come in here, boom bam, I can't even pin you, because if I pin you, you just take here and then my queen is attacked. It's like as if I don't have moves, Amruta. As black, what do I do? Okay, I could try to defend this, but then this. So how do I defend both the pawns?
what about bishop c5?
A bishop c5. That's a good.
Oh wait, somebody also, maybe now that I thought somebody must have mentioned as well.
Maybe queen d7.
Oh, by the way, Srirang says Samay is also playing.
Oh, Samay bhai.
Nice. Yeah, we will at some moment we'll look at his game. Queen c7 or bishop c5 are candidates, says Neil.
No, not. Bishop
Okay,
c7.
what about bishop c5? Sorry,
Bishop
what did he
c5
say?
was one move, and Amruta was looking
But-
at queen d7, trying to defend both the pawns.
But that queen,
Or
has
queen
a job
c7.
on g7. So I think
No,
whenever
but
you
we
keep
can keep the queen here and do the job.
But at some point when f4 comes and rook d6 ideas are something you have to be very careful about. So
Guys, it is incredible that today
wait.
we have someone very special joining us, because yesterday the someone special told us that someone special in his life is having a birthday today. Yet, in spite of that, he is joining us, and I think it's very difficult here for us to understand what is going on here. So, I am, Amruta, hoping that some grandmaster can come in and tell us how can black salvage the position here.
अरे हर्षित भाई एकदम yo ready
Hello,
and
hello,
all.
hello, guys.
Where's your sister?
No, mother's birthday.
अच्छा मदर्स बट आई थॉट वो भी यूएस से आ गई है. Oh.
नहीं, so today midnight basically we'll celebrate her birthday. So we came here today.
So, is
And,
it tomorrow, the birthday?
Yes, tomorrow is the birthday, but
Oh,
today
you
we
are.
came here.
Where are you, bhai? You seem to have come to some Bangkok or Thailand already.
It's an insane place, bhai. I'm going to share the video on my Instagram. Probably one of the nicest resorts I've been to.
भाई
What?
फ्री में मिला क्या? फ्री में
Lavasa,
मिला क्या?
Lavasa.
नहीं भाई, it's
अरे तो बोल ना वीडियो डालता हूँ.
अरे हर्षित भाई like बता दूंगा
one
तो
more
इधर
night.
लोग ने आ जाए.
हाँ बता मत दो.
no,
इंस्टाग्राम पे
Is
देखने
it
को.
near Pune or?
yes, it's close to Mumbai actually.
Oh,
It's like 50
Karzat,
minutes,
in
1 hour
Karzat.
from
Karzat.
yes, close exactly.
Oh
Very
my
close to Karzat.
god.
oh.
Okay.
And it's beautiful place. I will share the
Is
video.
there a river nearby?
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure about that actually.
अच्छा. भाई हर्षित भाई,
Okay,
now
I
everyone's
know
waiting
some
for
guesses.
Harshit bhai's Instagram post, because there we'll get to see.
अरे हर्षित भाई सच में talk to the guy over there, marketing guy.
Marketing guy.
Amrita is like, if you are
Amrita
going,
did,
Amruta
Amrita.
is going to, if you are going to post on Instagram, talk to them, they will give discount.
Guys, but I mean, once I share this with you, Sagar bhai, you will want to come here immediately.
अरे
अरे
भाई ऐसे
कर्जत
मत
is my
करो भाई.
favorite place यार हर्षित भाई.
Just swimming
Favorite
करके आया
मतलब
मैं.
इतना favorite कि हम लोग like we have been 2 years ago. Local train से 10 रुपए में we reach in 1.5 hours.
Just नहीं, Amrita, 30
मजा. 30 था टिकट दोनों का मिलके नहीं.
नहीं.
अच्छा थोड़ा महंगा बट ओके. और वहां पे वड़ा पाव खाओ.
nahi, I'm having too much fun, but okay. The game, unfortunately, today seems to be going not in the direction that we would have liked as
Actually,
Gukesh
Harshit
fans.
bhai, do you feel it that this is -2 position for Gukesh? Or do you feel like maybe engine understands it, but humans feel like it's not that bad?
No, to be honest, it looks really bad. It like again and again we've been we've looked at this pawn on h6 and how dangerous it can be, and the mating pattern it creates with the queen being on c3. Whenever the knight moves from e5, you have to be careful about queen g7 mate. d6 pawn is weak, and if you think about it, white has gotten everything on the king side, whereas black has made no progress on the queen side.
Yeah, exactly. But there was, not a good time also to make that progress. And that was, I think, the main problem.
What about guys queen c7? I'm not yet convinced, because now I attack your knight, I defend
Okay, so
this
knight
pawn.
c4, I guess.
Knight c4. Okay, I
Yeah.
take it, I guess.
And now, if you
Yeah.
take with the knight,
Rooks.
then I can consider taking with the rook.
C5 is.
And the point is, if you go rook c8, guys, can you find the best move for white very quickly?
Bone crusher.
Yep.
Bone crusher, maybe a4, trying to, get space for the king.
And
Making a
a4, a5, or maybe trying to put the bishop here, like how Pragg did yesterday. Many good moves, but Neil Modi is like, dosto, this is something which is my baye haath ka khel. Sagar bhai, Arman way, chess for fun, chess with Shankhadeep, Akshash Patil plays chess, Kavya Shah, Abhinava Roy, अरे अमृता क्या ही सब लोग ने.
But rook d6 also works, right? Only thing is I didn't
rook
want a rook
c6
d6.
is so beautiful,
rook c6.
Amruta.
Beautiful.
Rook
Take
c6
here.
because
That's what I was saying.
Checkmate.
Queen c7 is not feeling good.
And also,
Yeah,
Amruta's
this is
move, rook d6 may not be
But
that
rook e1,
stupid,
I don't know, like rook
because
e1
rook e1 is
check. Bishop
controlled.
c1. Oh, no, queen e1, queen d6 I thought. But bishop c1.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Amruta is like, I don't even want to take your rook.
Wow, Amruta, beautiful. Bishop
Yeah.
C, nice.
Amruta-
Sagar bhai, what very nice shirt, bhai.
Yes,
It's-
bhai. Today I went here.
Sambalpuri.
Bhai, Harshit bhai, there is...
Harshit bhai ka bhi.
Harshit bhai, because we put your photo there, it seems like people are just flowing into the camp, one after the other. It's जैसे अपन बहुत बार वो एक फोटो लगाते हैं of someone inspiring and then nice things happen. वैसा हो रहा है भाई.
Oh my God.
Bishop c5 played here, moving the bishop up,
Yeah,
and this
this
is the move
was
that was
natural.
recommended. But now the question is, can we push the knight and chop this pawn, free pawn?
The top 3 engine moves, I find them practically difficult. I mean, they're not difficult kind of, but just you don't feel connected with it. So, Harshit, what are your suggestions here?
For
First,
black?
For white.
Okay. Did he
For
play
white.
bishop? Okay, he played bishop c5, yeah?
Can we do this
रुक
move,
तो
guys?
चुप बैठ थोड़ी देर 1 मिनट रुक
b4. It's terrible.
अरे तेरे को थोड़ी देर चुप बैठने को बोला
Bhai,
था।
Amruta, I didn't see the engine. कुछ नहीं सोचा मैंने.
Don Amruta.
Amruta is like, भाई तू बोल मत, तू engine देखते रहता है. पर आज मैंने खुद से दिमाग चलाया
तो
है.
फिर mouse, like the one who sees the engine will have the mouse.
Yes, you can use it.
Okay, ठीक है.
That was very yes, but let's think
Is
about it.
before Harshit, one
No,
is
I don't like b4.
Okay, what else?
You don't like b4 by, but why? Rook b8, a3. Just, I mean, there's no weakness created. A c6 is weak, d6 is weak.
Maybe you're right, but it somehow doesn't. I mean, I don't want to create weaknesses voluntarily. I don't I said this in freestyle events as well. I am not someone who likes to push pawns in front of my king, because at some point you're just creating weaknesses. And right now, okay, let's try to think. Instead of b4, if I can find any other move which would do the job.
By the way, Scat Aspirant says crown is too heavy. Ding Liran and Gukesh say it. Yeah,
Yeah, it will take a bit to settle in for sure, no?
for sure. It's not at all easy being the world
Sriram says
champion.
that Harshit is near Morbe Dam. He's guessing.
Oh. Hi. It's like people are following you, tracking you.
Cannot believe.
1K like हो जाए दोस्तों. Like
Yes,
कर
guys,
दिया
let's
जैसे.
go.
Ooh, yes, after this, Josh, we will just have a quick look at Vaishali's game because she's playing with Zujiner. She's down to 18 minutes. She had found some amazing move over there.
And
So,
Pushkar
Deac,
says
yeah.
Harshit is the one most unexpected UCL and prediction. भाई क्या है ये?
Sorry, let me read it. What did he say? Okay, 1 second.
Harshit is the most unexpected UCL. क्या मतलब है भाई? UCL क्या है?
मुझे लगा टीम
UCL is the, I mean, UEFA Champions League.
हाँ
तो
वही लगा
उसमें कौन है unexpected?
I mean, basically, PSG defeated Arsenal, if I'm not mistaken. And now the final is going to be PSG versus Inter. And I'm rooting for PSG, baby. Ale, ale, Leblo, ale.
क्या बात है भाई?
PSG, I mean, Paris Saint-Germain.
क्रेजी नॉलेज
So
है
it's playing Inter Milan.
भाई तो मूव क्या करोगे?
हाँ, what is the move, Harshit bhai? Top
I was
3 बताओ.
somehow
Top
considering, I don't know why I
candidates.
want to play knight c4. Like, I want to get rid of that knight on e5.
Awesome.
And the point is
But
that
it's
after
still
knight
good.
takes c4, I want to go rook takes c4. And now I got rid of one of your most active pieces. And now I'm threatening
Oh, he
b4
goes
actually.
rook
But
a4.
you know, exactly, this is what I was... Actually, I thought
What?
knight c4 is not good, but it was a good move as well. But rook e4 was so tough and he finds it, yaar, because it is like shifting your mindset. Silence
No,
the
I know.
common
I
run,
know.
yaar, directly.
Guys, I know why he did it.
बताओ.
Because when he pushes f4, the rook doesn't want to be
Oh.
outside the game. He pushes it here and then f4 and then later the rook will...
e6 pawn is also hanging. Yes, that's a very nice point, Sagar bhai.
Yeah.
Rook a4.
Oh.
And he showed great awareness there. Also now, he's kind of tying down the rook on a8 because whenever the knight moves from a5, the a6 pawn, yes, it seems unimportant right now, but still, I don't think black wants to give it away. So rook a4, great move found by Vachier. He has 32 minutes on his clock as far as I can see, and 11 minutes for Gukesh. Down on the clock, tough position. Seems as if Vachier-Lagrave is showing why he was 2800 at some point, and this is looking more and more difficult for Guki.
But you know, still, if you look at it, there is a dark square bishop for black, and there is this b file open, and वो bit to be है. तो then
बिट्टू h8 पे ला लेते हैं ना यार, वो बिशप c5 का h8 पे ला लेंगे तो क्या ही मजा आ जाएगा अमृता.
oh yeah, wait a second, let's try.
नहीं पर वो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. मैं भी सोच रहा था बट इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल. Like imagine if you put the c5 bishop on h8, suddenly black might be the one who is doing really well because of that rocket looking on that b2 square. And that's the thing, that it's actually black who has no counterplay towards white's king, and that's the reason why white is doing so well in this position.
Yep.
Even after I put the bishop on h8 in this position, white is still slightly better.
But still,
But at least your position improved a lot, yeah?
I mean, yeah, it's great, but just goes to show how bad black's position is right now. Like, if
but
that...
you know, somehow I do feel that this kind of an evaluation is, again, this position, this whole game had very rare, unique kind of tactics as well and calculations. So this assessment, I don't think they would be thinking that they are +3. I think they would be thinking white is better, but I doubt if on the game they would be thinking of such an evaluation.
Amruta, it's a very direct plan of f4 knight c6. So now you first save that.
Because let's say you go rook c8. Let's say you make this obvious move rook c8. I will just go knight b3. Now I'm hitting your bishop on c5. I'm attacking the pawn on a6. You cannot defend both of them. And you know, I think concretely, black just does not have a way to defend his weaknesses. And I'm curious at some point to go, like maybe not now, but I'll check the opening at some point because I'm very curious as to how the momentum shifted in this game, because Vachier surprised Gukesh with Scotch. I mean, kind of surprised because we don't see Scotch that much at the top level. He's slightly surprised him, and it feels like his small idea worked out really well.
Yeah. I mean, in the chat, we have people saying different things that, oh, thank God, this will be a good preparation for Gukesh for Norway chess. Someone saying that, do you think playing every tournament is costing Gukesh's form? Well, guys, the truth is that chess world is super competitive. and there are no free points here for anyone. And I think
Exactly.
Gukesh is just going to have to work immensely hard for every single tournament that he plays now, being the world champion, because everyone gets special motivation when they play against him.
Yeah, and
Oh
also if you
yeah.
think about it, for becoming the world champion, Gukesh had two of the best years of his life and he became the world champion. But becoming the world champion doesn't guarantee you wins in every single tournament you play. You
Yes.
still have to keep up that same level of intensity and performance in order to compete against these players, because Vachier, on the other hand, who has not become a world champion, is super motivated to become a world champion. So his motivation, one might say, is more than Gukesh right now, who has already achieved the pinnacle.
Well, in general, you are right that if this was candidates and all, but I think in Gukesh is immensely motivated to become the best in the world right now. That's his new goal. That he wants to become world number one. He wants to sort of show that he can dominate the sport, just like how Magnus has been doing for years. But that is not easy, because
Yeah.
then you really have to be super strong, and this is maybe the phase that you go through,
Which kind of leads you there. I think one thing is clear: beat Arjun, beat Pragg, beat Gukesh. Nobody has had like a consistent years back to back every tournament that they have performed well. They all have gone through some back to back tournaments which have not been the best for them. But then they all had some amazing tournaments as well. Like in Tata Steel, they both were on first and second.
yes,
In fact, we also have seen Nihal having so many bad tournaments, and now he's just able to get it into the groove
But
differently. Arvind as well.
whatever happens, like result is one thing. To be able to be here and enjoy watching their games, the level of intensity that they put in every game, the ups and the downs, the wins, losses, but more than that, just enjoying the way that they play is so much fun. And it's always a treat, to watch Gukesh, Arjun, Pragg, be it any of the top Indian players playing, always a special moment for all of the fans, us supporting them. So I think we should not be very result oriented, because we should just enjoy the game. आईपीएल में है ना, जो भी टीम जीते भाई, रन्स बहुत बनने चाहिए एंड सब इंटरेस्टिंग मैच होना चाहिए, तो मजा आएगा, ऐसा आई फील.
definitely. That's a good way to look at it.
Even as commentators do not look at the result. Very interesting, very cool, guys. So look at the position, because Sagar, I still feel that practically.
मेरे को तो लगता है पुश करो भाई पॉन को f4 पे, निकालो नाइट को यहाँ से, like if the knight goes to
But then
g4.
he's
and-
happy.
Yeah, just this square is weak now. But
And then the bishop on
I
g5
wanted
stuck,
to
Sagar. You
take
can
this.
never get that idea.
because if queen takes, there's mate. But
This gives compensation. That's what I'm talking about. So naturally, because he's found a move rook a4, I think.
Oh, he's
मिल
about to
जाएगा.
make a move. He's playing so quickly. By the way, guys, 2000 of you watching, फटाफट like करो यार, 2k likes कर दो फटाफट. Very very
oh bhai, oh,
intense
he's going to play a
comment.
move.
Oh, is he going to play bishop c1? Because then it means he went
way.
rook a4,
No, no,
bishop
no
c1,
way.
and then ready for
No way.
f4.
Jose.
Bishop c1
Oh
possible
my
ही नहीं.
No
god.
way, Jose.
Oh my
He was-
god.
but
No,
he was
Indian is
going to
saying
touch
bishop
the bishop.
c1. He
By
was,
the way, he was
too
going
or
to
f4. If he plays f4, then some bit of possibility, like thoda sa back. Gukesh will be thoda sa back.
थोड़ा सा back.
थोड़ा सा back. Amruta थोड़ा करके he has to come back in this game. He, somewhere Vachier needs to make a small inaccuracy, because right now, if Vachier makes the best move bishop c1, the
Bishop
chances
c1
for
with the idea of
Gukesh-
b3, bishop b2.
Very
f-
tempting.
Yeah.
Very tempting. And also, Harshit bhai, tell me something. You're playing this and you see such an idea. You will be like, yaar, mera kya hi masterpiece create ho raha hai.
मजाक. A3
But he
play.
made the best engine
Oh,
move.
okay.
a3, what
Shocking.
the hell? I think he's doing this b4, bishop c1, bishop b2.
Bhai, Vachier, look at him. He's in top form right now. A3, bhai, trying
Shocking.
to go b4, bishop c1, bishop b2, and with every move of Vachier, the chances of Gukesh making a comeback are diminishing.
Yeah, I don't even understand this move so well. I guess the engine suddenly from...
Back rank रे firstly तो back rank निकल गया and then b4 के लिए as you
I mean, how does this move even cross your mind? Some variation must have this
back rank
square
issue.
or something in question, and then he found a3, right?
Yeah.
Some line.
Yeah, I will say one thing. For the first time, bishops, like for the first time, whenever you mentioned Amruta bishop c1, that was an idea that did not come to my mind at all. And it was a nice concept for me to keep in mind that, yeah, bishop c1 before bishop b2, because we rarely see this idea with your king on b1. But
yeah.
it was very cool and something new new pattern that I saw today.
Wow.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just don't understand still. Rook b8, for example.
Yeah, but let's say
b4.
you go for this before bishop c1, which, for example, for me is completely shocking, but it seems to be just crushing, yeah?
It's the right plan, I think. Yeah,
Wow.
a3. So then why didn't he start with b4? Like, does he have to
No, I
waste
think
the move? Oh, there's bishop b4. That's why.
What?
Because if
Oh,
rook b4, there's queen a5,
wow.
and if queen b4, there's rook
Rook
b8.
b8. Wow, Sagar bhai. Very well explained. Because for many people, understanding this a3 move would have been very difficult. But this bishop takes b4 idea, I think, is the reason why he stopped himself from playing it. And a3, just a prophylactic move, preparing b4. This is looking like a positional masterclass by Vachier.
Yeah. The knight on e5 is surprisingly trapped, says Neil Modi. True, true. You can't go back here and here because of mate. You can't go forward anywhere. The knight is beautiful, but only like some things you just see. It's looks wise good, but doesn't have any
yeah, that's
function.
what I'm wondering. Like, how did such a position happen and where? But MVL.
Arey Harshit bhai, why are you smiling? Why?
आप ही भाई, आप भाई.
क्या हुआ?
Harshit
क्या
bhai.
हुआ?
Amruta bhai बोला some things are only looks wise good. There is no function of it. तो हर्षित भाई ऐसे स्माइल कर रहे हैं. समझा नहीं मेरे को क्या?
हर्षित भाई बहुत ही ट्रिकी चेस बोर्ड पे चेस के
Chessboard पे
बाहर
Amruta,
भी.
thanks a lot.
नहीं,
Rook
बाकी-
a7, bhai. He's going rook a7 to overprotect the g7 square.
Oh,
Nice.
someone had suggested me.
Yeah, someone. Yes. And then b4 now, maybe bishop b6, and now c6 is not hanging perhaps after f4, because after this all,
Yeah.
If anyway this has this happened, I would say that the line which Gukesh chose, in a way, that then must be a dubious line.
Yeah,
Black.
for sure.
Because after he short castled, it wasn't very
What
easy.
line was it? Can we actually just
yeah,
quick
can you see
win?
Amruta? Just switch off.
Yeah.
ठंडा हो गया रूम.
नहीं वो एक रिकॉर्डिंग था, स्टॉप करना था. वेट, यहाँ पे ना बेसिकली इन द स्कॉच knight f3 d4. Have you played Scotch? White से black से
I have played it with black and I go for this knight f6 line instead of bishop
हाँ, got
c5.
it. So यहाँ पे नहीं, bishop c5 is good actually, but यहाँ पे queen f6 he played.
Queen e2.
Queen e2, knight e7, bishop e3, short castle.
Wow,
Correct.
he really
So
went wrong. I
he
think the
went
best
short
move in this
castle.
position is d6,
Yes.
and after long castle they go for bishop e6.
Yes, and then a5 ideas are also there after taking
Exactly.
here. So that is where he went for long castle and he didn't take much time, but here later even the ideas with queen g2 which Indian would
Never
recommend
worked.
were very difficult, but I think max to max h5 would still be a possibility, though practically you giving up the
Exactly.
square and allowing at some point
Mhm.
thinking a hook over here wasn't so easy. That's what I said, ki f5 सब
Correct.
natural hua, but it didn't work because
Yeah,
of this.
allowing the pawn on h6 is just, it feels like after Alpha Zero like showed us this
Yeah.
idea, it feels like it's just too powerful there
इसके
on
लिए
h6.
h4 खेलना पड़ रहा था, like you had to play
I
unconventional.
think you are right,
थोड़ा
Amruta.
सा.
I think for
force
better or
था.
worse, he had to go h5
Yeah.
to stop his idea. And after that, in the current position with the pawn on h6,
Hmm.
I think it just goes to show why it's such a beast there. And
And
very nice
यहाँ
maneuvering.
पे भी actually bishop b6 से he kind of blocked. b5 was still okay. I think he was
Actually,
okay.
b5 makes sense,
He
Amruta,
was
no?
so
To try to go
okay.
knight c4.
Yes, this was okay, and I think he
now
would have
bishop b6.
managed. Even rook c8 for c6 break is
C6,
possible.
yeah.
Bishop b6 is now, yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Something he missed. Maybe the feeling that यहाँ पे कुछ play मिल रहा है was.
Yeah, and then rook a4, a3, perfect moves by Vachier, and then he goes bishop f4. And yeah, the key point of white is to eliminate that knight on e5. The knight on e5 cannot move anywhere, Amruta, because f7 and d7, as we saw, run into queen g7 mate. And currently, white is threatening to go pawn to b4.
But
This
why
is
did he
looking...
go bishop f4? 1 second. Because like he had a f4 wasn't working, no, here?
No,
Knight
f4, you
g4.
kind of like block your bishop on g5 from,
Yeah, knight
you know,
g4,
like,
you're always happy.
exactly.
Got
So
it.
now he's basically saying, I go bishop f4, तुम्हारा move क्या है? Move ही नहीं है black के पास.
Hmm.
Move ही नहीं है, Amruta.
You know, oh my, what is this move? Insane. Like, this is such a desperate
Bishop
position
f2.
that the Indian has to suggest a move like even g5.
Yeah.
Which is like, of course, you're losing there. But maybe rook e6 move kaisa hai? That's the top move. Because you defend this, and then maybe, I don't know, at some point
Yeah,
you
but
are also
Amruta, let's
keeping
say
an
he
eye
goes,
on such
he
ideas.
plays
he
something.
played,
What
he
does he
played.
do?
Queen b6 he
Queen
went.
b6. Queen b6 was played by him, but
Yeah.
now
Hmm.
maybe white could just play king to a2.
Why not b4 now?
Sorry?
Why not b4?
b4
also
possible,
good.
but I was just waiting. I was just waiting to see what. Yeah, b4 is also very
Also
good because
good.
queen b5. Oh, that's such a cool tactic. b4, queen b5 runs into queen b3, check. And then I pick up the bishop on
Wow.
c5.
Yeah. You know, the point is whatever you find with white, like every move is working.
Exactly, yeah.
Nothing is like,
Position is-
oh, this doesn't work, ye blunder hai, there's some possibility. In general, tell me a move and it's working.
Yeah, no, this is tough. Actually, yesterday we saw Gukesh getting into small trouble against Deac, but then Gukesh found the best moves and he survived. But I don't think that the advantage for Deac was as big as the advantage Vachier has now. I think Vachier is clearly winning.
Vachier is also not really having any nerves, right? Because he's not a guy who has not beaten top players. He's
Yeah,
beaten
yeah.
Magnus so many times. It's like
Mhm.
he just knows he can do this easily.
Knight
Again.
b3. Great move again. Great move found by him again.
No, I think now white's play is easy, you know. Like, if
Bishop
any
is
move
just
is
trapped.
fine.
You have to go to f2.
But then d6 falls. So I think without a joke, Gukesh might resign.
Yeah, he might resign.
Yeah.
Really? No, it's
Yeah.
a bit too early.
I mean,
No, because no moves, Amruta.
look at the bar. It shows +4.
No,
It's
no,
like-
Amruta, it even though the material is equal, it might seem like he should play on for a few moves, but in reality, it's actually completely lost.
Oh,
Right,
that's
Sagar bhai?
pretty.
Sorry.
Yeah,
It's
in reality.
it's completely lost in reality.
Yeah.
So actually speaking, like yesterday, he had a great position for most of the game. He
A5
plays
he should
a5, and today with the black
Take here.
pieces, it has affected.
He wants to take queen takes, but like that endgame, queen takes, d takes, rook e1 is
Rook
also
E7.
lost. And then just pick up the a5 pawn maybe.
Yeah, it's just gone.
MVL played so incredibly. Can't believe it.
Guys, you know the beauty of this position, Harshit by Amruta. You take on e5, it's winning. You take on c5, it's winning. You take on a5, it's winning. Like you
Oh.
take whatever, it's winning.
Yeah.
No, you
I
know,
think-
MVL, yes, he obviously is a great player, but you know, sometimes like this kind of moves which he was finding were not so easy, no?
Okay, I see one way how black can do well in this position. One
Okay,
way.
please give some
King
hope.
a2. King a2.
Arre, Harshit bhai.
Wait, let's find at least kuch
I-
hope
Bishop
hai to
b4. I
फिर-
was going to blunder my bishop. Oh no. Mar gaya.
Oh, disco, nice.
What a nice.
But bishop b4 को तुम मारोगे नहीं ना? That's the problem. What
नहीं,
did
पर
you
मार
play?
दिया गलती से तो if then it's just actually yeah, but knight c5. Yeah, he's going to go for this endgame dc5, rook e1.
Yeah,
And
especially when yesterday you have seen Pragg's game with the h6 pawn. In the
Yeah.
tournament, you are constantly walking also, seeing the game also sometimes.
Resigns,
Then-
Amruta.
Oh,
It's
you
over.
were right. Oh my
It's over.
He
goodness.
resigns because after rook e7, which is the only
Rook
move,
a5.
just take here. This is
Take
falling,
the c5 pawn, yeah.
and you're
Oh,
2
it's
pawns down.
sad.
And look at Gukesh, by the way. This is
No, you're 1 pawn down, but you'll probably lose c. Yeah, it's gone.
By the way, look at him, right? He's not dejected or anything. He's just like asking him. It's such a nice to see this actually. Because generally, like you are like sad, upset, but Gukesh is more keen to know what he could have done better.
I
Yeah.
think Gukesh must be the most humblest world champion.
Yeah, and also if you look at Maxime, he doesn't show big emotions there. I mean, like he has done this before. So it's like, of course, he's like probably slightly happy, but it's not like, I mean, he's seen this all before. He was top three at some point in the world. So, I mean, he's just showing his class. I mean, of course, Gukesh is the world champion, but on a very good day for Maxime and a bad day for Gukesh, I mean, it's very possible like what happened today that Maxime wins.
Yeah. No, look,
Look at
Gukesh, but
Gukesh.
he is not happy, but he wanted to understand. And I think, the opening choice by MVL was amazing. It
Yeah.
completely surprised Gukesh. And I think also to somewhere avoid that, in fact, over here, after short castle, maybe you can say that it's a dubious line.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that after knight e7, bishop e3, d6, followed by bishop e6, and trying to go for counterplay there, usually is the best way to
Like
continue.
bishop e6 long
No,
castle.
but he took only 3
Yes.
minutes. So I thought maybe he has some preparation.
So, Amruta, what often happens with very, very top players is that they analyze thousands of line every single day before their game just to revise everything that they've checked. And it's very possible that once in a blue moon, they mix up the move order. And I think that today we might be seeing one of those rare days where Gukesh mixed up his move orders because it feels as if White got a very pleasant position right from the get-go. And for a player as strong as Bashir, sometimes that's all they need to
Yeah.
really put the pressure on
No,
you.
that's true actually, because in fact, I will also tell you, because I play Scotch so much. I used to play Scotch from white. There were a number of times where black short castle is completely fine. In fact, black short castles and then starts with a5 and all that attack.
Yeah.
So he must have mixed it, but then MVL did not leave a chance after this.
Actually,
line.
can I ask one question?
I want to ask one question to Harshit also later,
Sure.
but the same.
I'm super surprised by this move, bishop b5.
Yeah.
Like
It wasn't so good, in fact.
yeah, it might not be good, but the thing that I don't understand is if I go a6,
Oh,
like what is it that you want?
until about a6 was not working because of bishop b6, but this time ab5.
But I can
yeah?
take, right? And then I'm threatening b4 and then a2 is hanging.
True.
So maybe
So
not
first bishop c6 he will take.
yeah, take, and then I take on e3, suppose.
Yes, forced. And then queen takes
You take with
e3.
the queen, and I do knight c6. And
This looks very playable for black. Very playable. I mean, knight b4 is coming, rook e8. I mean, a5, a4 ideas. This looks very fighting.
The dark square bishop, I think, is important to get rid of it. Bishop e3 at the right time.
yeah, so he could have done it even here. Bishop e3, queen e3.
Even h4
and
he could
a6.
have done it. No, h4 was fine.
And what's the point of putting bishop? I don't understand at all. Like, why would you play bishop b5 when you can play a move like bishop e2?
Because you want to quickly go with h4 and all that, maybe? Or no?
The only answer I can get is he wants to take here. If pawn takes, he has this tactic bishop g5 winning the knight. And if knight takes, then maybe d5 square becomes a little bit softer. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes making like maybe Bashir thought that this is some rare line that Gukesh has prepared against him. And that's why he did not want to make the obvious move bishop e2. He wanted to do something new.
Yeah.
And that's why he came up with this idea bishop b5 and it worked out quite well.
Possible. Yeah, this seems like a proper. But look at this, no? Over here, like we were looking at this move, queen g2.
Queen g2
And
is never going
nobody
to
can
happen.
play this,
That's
right? You
not-
cannot
that's
even
never gonna
think
happen.
about it. Like this
Yeah, I mean-
kind of a situation.
Actually, I see it now that the point is bishop e2, you have bishop e3. That's the whole point. That you start with bishop e3 and black is doing quite well.
But you can start with bishop b6, but yeah, that's not great.
No, the
yeah.
point is that white wants to have that dark squared bishop. The reason being that after bishop e2, if you go queen f6, that would be not a good move because of bishop g5. Exactly, Amruta. And now suddenly I'm giving up my pawn on f2. But the point is that I just have way too much activity and I can consider rook f1, rook g1 now. And I just have, this just looks really strong for white. And I feel like the white's attack will cash through.
So that dark square bishop, if again bishop g5.
So I had to just get
By
rid
the
of
way,
it. So
bhai,
that's why after bishop
bhai,
e2.
maybe we have to. No, we can't do rook g1. We have to think of something else.
Oh, I said rook g1. Wow, I'm sorry.
No, you didn't say. Maybe I just made it, but I
No,
mean,
I actually said it. So
maybe you have
bishop
to
e3
go
is
back.
now
Yeah.
back
Just
because after takes rook f-g1 traps the queen. Wow.
so I mean, in a way, it does make some sense with taking this pawn because you have the bishop here.
Mm-hmm. No,
But
but actually, after bishop e2, bishop e3 is just
yeah,
such a powerful move because
yeah,
you double white pawns. The queen no longer has any influence on the d2 h6 diagonal. You put your queen on e5. This is, yeah, great for black. And yeah, I think as Amruta pointed out, this move bishop b6 maybe was another inaccuracy as uh, it gave white too much time, maybe.
yeah, h4,
h4, f5.
f5. I think the key error.
No, actually, after that, Amruta pointed out that takes. Uh, yeah, yeah.
G6.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe he could have done now. At any point, if
Now.
he trades
Yeah, that also is fine.
and then
But
does this,
G-
maybe he has a better version of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the moment the bishop g5 happened, Gukesh was suddenly left wondering that maybe his bishop is not so great anymore.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No, that's why I think. But here A6 takes.
Yeah, he
In
had
fact,
a
this was
chance.
a happy position.
This had a
And
chance.
in
Take.
fact, I'll ask you, Harshit, one question, okay?
No,
यहाँ
you
पे
showed me, right?
rook h4, rook e8, and no, यहाँ पे. What else will you think for black? An interesting idea.
No, you showed me this bishop a7 b5 idea.
No, that is different. But यहाँ पे
Okay,
there is
let me
another
think.
idea.
If I...
No, I showed you, no.
Oh, that one. Acha.
I mean, just as an idea, I thought it was incredible.
I mean, there is some merit to try to bring our knight to f7, but I have to reroute my pieces for that. Okay. Knight g4, knight f6 is one idea.
Knight g4 ko what's the plan for f3?
I mean, initially I wanted to go knight f6, but I'm trying to see if I have any other like candidate moves. F4. No way, Amruta. Do I have
F4
this?
has some problems, but you did. F4 is there is a better move with the same idea. F4 ko knight d4.
Okay.
And now if you take queen d5 here, it's not working.
Then g4 is hanging, yeah.
This is hanging, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So instead of f4, you're saying bishop f2, then f4. Bishop f2, fg4. Okay.
I would say this move is humanly impossible to find.
Knight f2, then f4, but I don't. That's like unreal.
So humanly impossible to find.
It's f4 idea, but on next move, you do something else this move. So when he takes the knight.
Oh my god. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
नहीं but ये एकदम impossible है ना सागर.
Actually, it's
Somebody
really
cannot.
cute.
You cannot even think of
It's
it.
really
Like
cute.
even.
Is rook a8.
No, you're
Yeah,
joking.
exactly.
No, you're joking.
And
No, oh
look
my
at
god,
this.
and you want rook e5?
Yes,
Bhai, this is what?
insane. And you know, like basically, if you go like king b1 को तो rook e5 आ रहा है, and now if you go knight d4.
No, but this is, I mean, it's too good to be true.
Exactly, that's how you describe it.
But then it's rook h3, by the way, making space for the bishop, stopping this. This is
but-
also.
And then go
yeah.
on with the knife.
Rook e5, bishop h4. Yeah. Bishop
Harshit, it's
e3.
time for dinner, bhai.
Yes. Rook e3, f3, and then e2 maybe.
Crazy, no? Crazy.
Harshit,
But it was
what is
very
there for
nice.
dinner tonight?
Bhai, it was insane, bhai. So I had
You
for
had already
starter
dinner
actually.
or
No,
not?
I just had some starter. I got this chicken tikka on a skewer. And now they have some Italian food by some pizza and pasta bhai. Oh la la.
Bhai, you are mixing chess and food now. Italian chicken on
Italian,
skewer.
Sicilian.
Now you can have Italian or Sicilian with Sicilian sauce.
Yeah, I'll just stay away from the Scotch.
Oh, you'll stay away. I thought today it would be different.
Nice.
Okay, guys.
Take care, bye.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Harshit
man.
bhai, thank you for dropping by, and also
Yes.
Curzon is
huge.
45 degrees, usually. Abhi
No,
kitna
no,
hai?
no. Beautiful weather here, actually.
Mm.
Around 25, 26
But
degrees
Harshit bhai, we are
Celsius.
waiting for your reel, and also a
Yes.
huge birthday wishes to your mother. Is it
Thank
today
you.
or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Okay, so tonight
Ah.
it's great. Thank you. Take care.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys, and thanks for having me. And we will continue the action tomorrow, bhai,
Yes.
where
Yes. Oh.
Pragg and Gukesh especially will be trying to make a comeback.
Tomorrow,
Um,
by the way,
What are the pairings?
Gukesh, his opponent will go to Pragg. So Pragg MVL will happen
Pragg
tomorrow.
MVL,
And
so
Gukesh
maybe
will face tomorrow
Duda.
Duda.
Oh, his second.
He's second, yes,
Oh.
with whom he
Oh,
played
first
over
time, yeah?
300 games. Yes,
Unbelievable. Okay.
okay.
a lot of
Very
fun.
interesting.
Lot of fun. Okay, bye. Thank you.
Bye.
See
Okay,
you.
Thank
guys.
you.
See you.
Wish you all a
Bye-bye.
happy birthday.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Guys, that was Harshit Raja joining us all the way from his vacation spot. Such is his love for chess. He can, drop in from anywhere. By the way, Amruta, Levon Aronian winning against Krzysztof Duda with a completely dominating position. Look at this rook completely blocked in. And we have one more game where Alireza Firouzja seems to be better against Wesley So.
Oh, yeah. He was attacking, yes. And it seems he has got some advantage out of it. Who else? Duda, Aronian, you sure? And Acha, 2 games are only going on. Got it.
And by the way,
Anwar.
Anvai, thank you for your super chat. I will definitely try my best to do well. And Vaishali, meanwhile, Amruta, we are not switching on the engine just yet, but I'm trying to kind of guess what would be the evaluation of this position.
Looks good.
Take on f5, ef,
In fact,
queen f5, queen c4, queen d7, queen queen d7.
not
Seems to
queen
be
a2,
better.
blunder,
Queen,
c8.
yeah, queen a2, queen f4 you can't take. c8 is hanging. So in a way, then you're pawn up, right? As white. 5.
No, but bishop f5, queen f5 would also look at queen f2.
Queen f2. Okay.
And if rook c1,
But I would
what
assess
will,
this
where will you
as
do? Because rook c4
plus
hai.
plus minus position for white.
Plus minus.
Yeah.
Like, so, come on. Wait. Let me assess.
Let's
No
ask our
way.
chat, guys. What do you think is the
No
evaluation here? Vaishali is black. We
I
haven't
think she's
switched on the
doing well.
engine. I'm saying it's plus minus 1
No,
point
she's fine. I think
0.9 to 1
slight,
basically.
very slight.
0.2.
0.5. 0 point?
You're saying 0.2?
No, 0.45 types.
Okay.
Maybe 3, 4, 5.
0.3 says Ajan Prajapati. Let's see. Who else? Is there anyone else? No. Oh, it's 0.00 Amruta.
Exactly.
That is
Because the
terrible.
point is, no, it's amazing. No, Vaishali is
No, I mean that's just terrible evaluation by me. Because
यहाँ पे queen f2.
I just thought that this should be okay. This is better, yeah.
This is better, correct. Looks good, but यहाँ पे queen f2 खेलो.
Oh, you are right, Amruta. Your move was correct.
Because what will you do here? Sicilian है.
Sicilian दिया. उसको Sicilian के बाद कुछ भी position आया. Just because it was Sicilian, she will be do well. Now queen a2 and now queen d7, queen c4. अच्छा उल्टा आपने मारा.
And उधर rook c4 may not be the good move, no? Because you might be left with the a pawn.
Yeah, so okay. So Vaishali
No, because I think, she found a very good move. I don't know if it was her preparation, but in the opening, यहाँ पे she played knight d4 and simply gave up a pawn.
Yeah, should be her prep, I think. But it's
But
not
she didn't
simply a
take
pawn, no, Amruta, because take
position.
bishop. No, how
नहीं,
is
bishop
it?
c5 नहीं आ रहा है.
Bishop e4?
Queen e4.
I was thinking queen b6, queen b2, but there is a8 hanging. So I'll first castle. So like knight d4.
हाँ.
Knight d4 takes here. Now I have castle.
No, castle wins knight d6 and you're
d6.
gone. You have to take.
take queen e4
and rook b8.
because if bishop e4 there is bishop
Yes.
c5.
So you have to take with the queen,
Queen
and rook b8
back here.
and then b3 and then
Sorry.
oops. And now you're with
Castle.
f5 and bishop c5 and castle mate. तुमको castle की बड़ी जल्दी है. What? One second. F5 को.
He can't take because
Yeah,
of
rook
this
is
rook.
getting trapped.
Beautiful.
Oh my god. And you can't even take your queen to e3 because of bishop c5. And if you go queen e2, it's still bad because this and this. So that means the only move here for f5, you can't go queen c2 because same check, and your queen d3 is the only move.
Mhm.
Wow, so cool. Yeah, so that's what she was. It was amazing what she found, and then
I think
great assessment.
Vaishali
Great player.
playing great chess here. This has happened, by the way.
Yeah.
And now just don't take this pawn, Vaishali.
No, of course not.
And we have also Amruta. Maybe we can just check if we can.
Asian, I checked.
Yeah.
Because it
Asian.
was morning round actually.
Oh, today round is over.
Morning round था.
2 round है क्या आज?
नहीं एक ही
Oh,
था.
today this
Today blitz
blitz. Round 1.
वो अभी कौन से चल रहे हैं?
Round 1.
चल.
Just started. Oh my god.
तो निहाल नहीं खेल रहा है? खेल रहा है.
निहाल नहीं खेल रहा रहेगा.
Pranav is playing.
I think Nihal is so serious with he's there, he's not playing. It's amazing.
Got it.
Pranav is playing highest rated India.
चलो सही है.
But सुबह का राउंड में क्या हुआ?
देखा ना मैंने.
Open.
सबको दिखाया मैंने.
So
मुरली
Danesh
जीता, Indian
Nihal,
जीता.
Karthikeyan.
Ilam Parthi lost today. Nihal drew with Pranav.
Kripnev. And Prathamesh?
He won.
Congrats, Amruta.
Yeah, no, it's great that he's playing with a very good attitude to enjoy chess. So that's nice. Maza aaya, very nice. So many of you just keeping a good attitude towards even Gukesh's play and believing and trusting and keeping the positivity. It's
आ जाएगा
amazing, all
वापस.
of you.
He'll make a
वो तो
comeback.
आएगा ही, उसमें कोई
There
डाउट
will
ही मत रखो guys.
There will be a comeback. भाई अभिमन्यु पुराणिक ने क्या ही गेम खेला है.
Abhimanyu plays crazy chess, huh?
Yeah.
Is like all of those who like to attack,
He's
you
great,
can
he's
check
great.
out his games. सही है. पर और क्या कैंप का कोई any last story which you would like to share?
I can show a couple of photos, Amruta, from the camp.
Sure then.
So,
And also like what is this? Okay.
like I can show you one of my favorite photos of today just to show how interested everyone was.
Oh, Travel with Nikhil Roshan, member for 31 months, says hello dosto, please hit that like button. Arey, thank you. Did we reach 1000 likes, guys?
I'm sure we did, Amruta.
Let me check. I will tell you.
1186, yes.
Ooh, super.
And Amruta, this is what I was talking about. Like, some
नहीं उधर ही power change कर लो power. Oh, what are you going to
So
do?
look at here.
Oh, so cute.
There were so many little kids who were very, very
But
interested.
they had come specially for the camp or for shopping?
No, for the camp, there were some people in the mall who would just come and then we would tell them to join.
आओ chess सीखो कुछ
And
खरीदना
then
नहीं है फ्री
Look
में
at
है आ
this,
जाओ.
Amruta. Here's an auntie who was like
Oh.
around 60 plus years of age, and she was learning there. That's Adarsh who is teaching.
Wonderful.
Then we had a cake cutting session here. So if you look at this,
Did you bring the cake?
no,
Oh,
but it had
what
a chess king.
beautiful one.
Yeah, it had a
Solid.
chess king, and a lot of people ate this. Then we also had,
So sweet.
yeah, many different things were happening, Amruta. Like, for example, these kids knew absolutely nothing about chess. So they just walked in and they were like, we don't know about chess, we want to learn. And that's Daksh there, who was one of the trainers. And he just completely gave all his time, effort, energy to teaching them chess. Um, and
Which is so
then,
nice to see. Last year also he was there.
yeah,
This time also, like, people have enjoyed, so they're there
no,
again.
they are
and,
there always, and they just love the environment of newness and what's happening. And then you can see here, these are the kids whom we teach in the children's home. They came here, and last year, they could hardly go past 2 or 3 sheets, Amruta. This time they had reached 22 sheets.
Yeah, but
That's how good they were. And that was just amazing to witness it there. And then this is the uh, picture of
beautiful.
of
Your
100
dad.
watches. That's on the left of the frame is my father, but 100 talking watches were given to visually impaired
So
players
nice.
there.
Beautiful.
So that was very cool.
So kind.
Yeah, so a lot of interesting things, Amruta, for all the people. Guys, do come to Phoenix Market City tomorrow, because you can come, you can play, you can learn, you can solve the sheets. There's a lot of things happening there. It's from 2 p.m. onwards to 8 p.m. So please do check it out. And we also have a very interesting form for you if you want to organize the big chess camp in your city or your place. You can just fill this up and we'll try to reach you to help you with all the things that you need to make such a camp possible, so that more and more people learn chess.
Amazing.
So this is the form that we have, so you can fill it up if you would like to do it. That would be so cool.
मजा आया यार. निखिल रोशन बोल रहा है चैट में झगड़ा नहीं करना चाहता, बट आई डोंट लाइक चॉकलेट केक. अरे chocolate, those who don't like, maybe you don't like chocolate also.
Okay. Take care, guys. Amruta, I'm going to end the stream.
Yeah, definitely. I think
We'll have
tomorrow we
dinner.
will, by the way, after tomorrow we will have
A rest day.
rest day. Yeah,
Yes.
12th को rest day है.
Yes. Okay. Bye. See you guys. Take care. Shubh Ratri. Shabha Khair. Bye bye.